At least we
One.
made it over 100. That's all that matters. If this was the fucking 99th episode, I'd be so fucking pissed.
Yeah, right. Right. So it's
Uh,
all about the good times. Let me see
so
here.
do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first with the statements? How do you want to do it? Are we just going straight into
Freakers.
statements?
Yeah, I'm just gonna start it up. Like after the countdown, we start it up. I'm I'm going to go first if you don't
Okay.
mind.
No, that's
Just
fine with me. I
because
really have no preference. So,
what's going on, freakers? You're here for the finale. This is it for us.
well, for the Maiden Dreams podcast, at least.
Well, yeah, for the Maiden Dreams podcast, that's what matters. GK Poo Live. What's going on? So, I thought this might have been the time to pull out my championship belt.
Yeah,
But
you see, I thought you was.
but I had on the robe. I was gonna pull out the championship belt, and then I was like,
It's not the
nah,
place or time.
nah,
for it.
this isn't the place or time
No.
for the championship belt.
You see,
I don't think people could
you
handle the championship belt.
no, you see, you said something in Discord which alluded to it.
Yeah, share
Yeah,
like
yeah,
ghost.
yeah. You see, you alluded to it. I was like, oh shit, here we go. It's all coming out. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
glad
but
you didn't actually.
this is the day. This is the day for people who
This
need
is a
to.
wait.
Yeah, they need to get. Yeah, it's not about my championship belt today.
No, not
So
today.
I'm just gonna
We'll
leave
keep.
the championship belt is right next to me on the floor, on a little holder, but I'm not gonna pull it out today. We'll do it when we revive, and with the next show, that'll be the time the championship belt can come out.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, peoples? Good to see y'all here, fellers and fellettes. Lol, love it. So, bros and bras.
Bros and bras. That's a good
Bros
one.
and bras. But I'm just happy that that it's working. We've had so many. Of course, it wouldn't be an episode of the Maiden
No.
Dreams podcast if we didn't have everything try to explode on us when we finally got set up. And I've been troubleshooting for the last
about 3
2
hours?
hours. Yeah, about 2.5, 3 hours now. And we finally got everything right. And I was like, all right, just go live.
Just do it before it all breaks.
Yeah. So it's good to see. Yeah, it's good to see everyone. And I hope y'all know before we get into our full breakdown. I like to bros, bras, and brays. Indeed, I'll take it. Yeah, right. If everything went 100% right, it would have been ironic.
Wouldn't it just? Wouldn't it just? Of course, the day that everything dies is the day that the stream decides to work.
Yeah. I did have a moment there where I was like, hey, I might have to cancel. And I was like, no, keep working at it. Yo, where that Discord link at? Jamie, you wanna knock that out for me? Good. Yeah. Because
So
I don't want to touch.
that-
I don't want to touch anything.
Anybody that wants to be on the video wall to say their piece, it's in the podcast Lotion Lobby. So that's where you need to go. Pop yourself in there. Just mute yourself for now. We'll do our opening statements and then we'll move into the Lotion Lobby with you guys as soon as we're done and the intro's over.
Yeah. So I'd say it's been a blast. Time. It's been no, it's 1:16 because we didn't start 5 minutes too because of problems, technical problems. But yeah, I feel like giving everyone time because yeah, I enjoy seeing everyone here because we'll get into it. We'll all get into it, and everybody, Missy Aiko, what's going on, girl?
We'll all just get on the video wall and all just scream together. It's fine.
Well, I'm not gonna do that, but I got other people that are working in this household, but also I've just like I said, we'll talk about it because I think I'm more at peace than a lot of people are. And,
Yeah, that's understandable.
it's just how it is. But maybe we'll get into it. You know the struggles. You can tell people what I've been mentally going through for like months now. So, but yeah, we're gonna. We both. Well, here I'll just wait this 10 seconds. I'll wait this 10 seconds out. So, guys, this is the last episode, the finale, and unlike usual, we both prepared something like a little write up of something we wanted to say, just because once things get started and everyone's here, it's it's gonna be wall to wall emotions as well as um, feelings. And I'd originally said that I should go first, but I'm going to let Jamie go first. So,
Okay.
Jamie, you go ahead and do your write up.
All right. So the inevitable happened, but sooner than I thought. We all knew back in the back of our heads that dreams as a concept was just not feasible without some form of income, but we all remained hopeful as we all believed in the vision that MM had to make it happen. As if any studio could, it was them. It's unfortunate to see that dreams will no longer be supported and that Media Molecule are moving on to whatever it is they are now actively developing. Although ultimately Sony is to blame, MM hold their part too. Their lack of communication and information already drove multiple dreamers away long before this announcement. But lessons are learned, and I wish them nothing but the best moving forward, and thank them for making Dreams, as it is and always will be the best piece of software to ever grace a console. After stewing on the news for a couple of days now, there is a lot I could say about Sony and Media Molecule and how things should have been and how they could have been, but at this point, it's falling on deaf ears, so I'll just say this. Every program I tried prior to Dreams just killed the ambition, as they are so complex, but Dreams broke that barrier and allowed me to play around with game dev in a way that was fun and engaging, especially with this incredible community we have to help guide and encourage. We all know it's such a shame to see the potential wasted with Dreams when it could have been so much more. So don't let that become you as well. You have so much potential to become more, so be more. Find an engine you like and get creating. Don't waste that talent. Dreams was a success in my eyes. Maybe not financially, but people have got employed by studios, started making games on PC, became artists, got diplomas in game design by using Dreams, made friends, and so much more. You are all living examples of MM's vision, and I'm so grateful to have been part of something that has changed so many lives, made so many friends, and found passions that would have never been found if it were not for this amazing piece of software. Dream's time has come to an end, but yours is just beginning. The barrier has been lifted, the passion has been sparked, MM has done their part. Now it is up to you to take it the rest of the journey. Whether you're going to continue using Dreams after its migration, or moving to a new engine as I have, there are no wrong answers. Take what Dreams has given you and face the world with all the creativity you have. That's what Dreams' purpose was, and it has achieved what it was meant to do. I wish you all nothing but the best moving forward in the past as creatives. You continue to inspire me daily, and I expect you will continue to do so for many years to come. That's it.
All right. Well, people were saying they agree. Mine's a little bit different, but that's for the best.
So see what you have. What is your
my
statement?
my first statement is I have no ill will towards the beautiful people at Media Molecule. As I'm sure none of the things that people are going to mention today, and that now includes Jamie, as far as pitfalls in execution, marketing, etc., are anything within the actual control of Media Molecule. Um, um, I'm honored to have met everyone that I did from the studio and get the chance to talk to and, understand them on a more personal level. Some of them, I hope, even though, things are radio silent for obvious reasons, I hope I still get to speak to them. Mahogany Tom, I still believe in Tom Dent. Abby Hype Bay, and, we all know she's moved on from Media Molecule now, but I hope I still get to talk to her and, figure out what she's doing next. And the once self-labeled princess of print, who I'm going to refer to now as the queen of print, Jen Simpkins. They're all beautiful people. And I'm sure that we can look forward to the future things that they will do. Nothing but love. And I know people are feeling very strongly right now. Some a little too strongly. But that's just Twitter. But it's understandable. But you have to remember that these devs, and the ones that we don't have names for, really, that we've never really met on the forward-facing, consumer side, they're people. So I hope everyone can keep their cool and remember that, because just like you go to work every day, we all have the limitations of what we can and can't do. So yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. So treat them, the creators of Dreams, with the love and respect that honestly they deserve. And I'm pretty sure even though they can't say anything, I'm pretty sure that, they've known for a while and are probably just as angry. But that's from my point of view. So from there, let me just go ahead and get to what I guess the rest of what I want to say. So Dreams is still alive. And it is, as intended, a sketchbook that is ripe for creators to create in, whether it's online, local, or whatever. For some, like I stated in the last podcast, sketchbooks get put in the closet. So if someone decides that it's time to move on from Dreams and go into the next stage of their development, do it. It is what it is. But for me, the most frustrating part is that it just doesn't seem that Sony realized what it had, like most big companies, going off the initial sales to determine the success of a product. And due to this, I feel like Dreams unintentionally fell into the game industry genre of live service. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, yeah, it was a live service, but I don't think it was. And I think ultimately the thought of that is what doomed it from the beginning. It is much closer to Blender or Unreal than it is to Destiny. But the idea that it needed to sell well instead of being developed, like Unreal, like Blender, they get updates, they get bug fixes. It put it in a bad trajectory. And again, I speak no ill will towards This is completely, in my opinion, until I have further information, a lack of vision from Sony. I do believe that, this end has been on the horizon for a long time. And I do believe it was known by for some time. But, the way I see it, when the boss says you can't say nothing, you can't say nothing. It's just that simple. Sony spent years with helping to develop this product. And I put the wasted potential on them They developed something that was groundbreaking. So groundbreaking that while people could sit back and talk about the things it didn't have, we had actual filmmakers, TV producers, game developers, and musicians, professional musicians, paid musicians that saw Dreams and understood that it was just better. It's not what they could use for the day job, but it was better. They enjoyed it more. That should be the sign that it was a success and that it was something that could be built on. So yeah, back to Sony. They fumbled this since day one. That's all it comes down to. From the marketing to the not understanding that if a game is gonna or maybe understanding and not caring, who knows? Maybe they had spent so long in production or in development that they were like, just get it out. But releasing it at the end of a console generation and the first step not being to ensure its longevity by making it available on the current gen, it's just one of the many things. And ultimately on PC, because that's where something, unfortunately, that's where something like this belongs. It just makes its life longer, in my opinion. Let me top all that off with my opinion. I told y'all before that I was waiting to buy the PSVR 2 until, I got word on Dreams and the fact that they came out and said that it wasn't going to be on they're looking into it, but basically, yeah, it just wasn't already in the game. I have no reason to get a PSVR 2 now. It's personally. I hope, and I am wrapping it up, guys. I'm sorry this is taking so long. I hope that the masterminds behind Dreams, some that are still with MM, some that we all know have moved on, and gone into other products like, 3D Substance Modeler. I believe there was someone that went to WOMP, and I know that there's a few others in other programs that I've been getting notes about. I hope that you can all come back together in the PC front, if it's at all even wanted, and create the successor to Dreams in PC and charge as much as you want. I'll pay it. That's my hope. That's my hope. For those that are still with MM, as I said before, there's no hate, nothing but love to everyone. I know a lot of people want to put this on MM, but real talk, when it becomes Corpo, I don't think they had as much of a play in this as many people think. It's my opinion. I'd love to have a Molecule show up today and really just give an untethered thing. But I think that would take somebody losing their job. So I understand not getting that wish. I'm excited for the next project under MM's banner. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't sour a little bit, but I've had more time than I think most, because Jamie can tell you I saw this as a definite in months ago, like 6.5, 7 months ago. And I told him that it was going to become a thing, and it has, and it's sad for everyone involved. But as Jamie said, everybody, keep doing what you're doing. Nothing is forever. Things come and go. You're still artists. You're still capable. make it happen. And so, thanks everyone who's followed our channel.
Mm.
As we've grown with Dreams, and you've all seen that we've branched out on our YouTube to do other things, and we do have another podcast in the works, which will center on gaming as a whole, as well as films, because I love me some movies, some talkies, some motion pictures. So yeah, I guess on with the show.
It is time.
All right. All right. So now we're here in the main section. Jamie, you did you make the switch?
I made the switch. I'm here.
Okay.
Your video's not on though.
See, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. This is the this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. But thank you to everyone who is here to see it all out with us. Yeah, what if I started an activity in the voice channel? What would happen? Don't do that.
My bad.
It's all good. It's all good. This isn't.
I'm down to play some games. What are you talking about? Let's play some Putt Party while we talk.
It'll be chill.
Putt Party. But look, we just wanted to start out, I guess, and let everybody say their piece. So whoever wants to go first, as far as just air out what you feel. Like, we're at the wake. Let's it's a cert, damn it. Well, no, it's not a wake. That's
of life.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, we just wanted to, there's so many people voicing things on Twitter, and just thought it would be good to present a place where people can get their feelings out. Jamie and I have already done so. We wanted to do a cold open. But yeah, I guess whoever wants to go first, say your piece.
If it's okay, I'd like to go first. I think mine is least inflammatory.
All right. Works for me.
So I just wanted to say with two goals. So I want to talk to anybody who's watching and tell them that I want to help give them like a framework to think about it. I know we've had a couple days to think about dreams and everything. But I want to encourage like introspection in people and figuring out what next steps are and what you want to do. And I also want to share some game dev tools that aren't dreams that I've heard about, so that'll happen. I encourage people to think about the way to move forward now, because although Dreams is not dead, it's going to end. So that new server won't last forever. So basically the goal is examine your relationship with creativity. And after doing a couple streams for a couple days, I got like a couple groups of people. And so I guess the framework that I'll use to like help people think about it is like the different groups of people that I saw. One is like artists and devs. People in this group will say something like, I must create to express myself and feel good about myself. That's like how I am. And it also includes people that are like professional game developers, people who really want to do this, whether Dreams is there or not. And for those people, even the skills are just like dreams and locked in dreams. There's a way forward. There's lots of tools GDevelop comes to mind as an accessible one. Maybe not as accessible as Dreams, but pretty good. And then, of course, there's all the other engines. I'm learning Godot. There's Unity, Unreal. Then there's Group 2. People like this will say, I like creating stuff for fun, or I can't see myself making stuff outside of Dreams. And for those people, I think I'd like to challenge that assumption that you can't make stuff outside of Dreams, or that it's not fun to make stuff outside of Dreams. So for 3D artists, there's Womp 3D comes to mind. For music makers, I think the skills are more transferable than the other areas. So maybe find a DAW, DAW. One of the ones I heard about was FL Studio, but I don't know much about those. For 2D artists, there's like Krita, Autodesk Sketchbook, and then, for game devs, there's like GDevelop again. But yeah, I think for people like this, I think this is Dream's target audience, like people who just want to create for fun. I think you can do that outside. So I think it's good to start looking into these things now before things start to go away, because you can build those skills, and the more you work on it now, the more fun it'll be when Dreams is eventually no longer there. And then Group 3 is community-oriented people. I like creating because I want to share things with my friends. This one's a bit tougher, and I feel for people like that. I think everyone in all the groups kind of feels for that. And I think that's where a lot of my sadness came from. However, I would like to say there is like software and game dev on Twitch, and I have met a lot of really cool, awesome people working in different engines. There is like an online community for Womp. There's like online community for Godot and stuff like that. Yeah, so I wanted to present those 3 groups and just help people think about what they want to do next. And hopefully that helps. I think the biggest questions are, why do I use Dreams? And what does that mean going forward? So that's all I wanted to say. I hope that's helpful. I think the most helpful part was probably the programs I mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good to understand. No problem. Thank you for coming, man. I think that is part of the thing. Like, everybody's going to need time, and maybe more time than they think it'll take to really process this, because a lot of people really, really loved Dreams. I'm one of them. And so it's good to understand how people are feeling, and the way you just broke it down. Yeah, it's someone can put themselves in any one of those 3 camps, and I think find a pathway to heal, if you will. And so, yeah, thank you for saying it. And who wants to go next? Acer, it looks like you really want to say something.
Come on, Acer.
I was just gonna say I should not go next. That's all.
Yeah.
Go next, bro. Go next.
Just do it.
Really should
Just
not.
go.
I'll go towards the end. We're getting more inflammatory as we go, right?
I want to know. I want to know Acer's shit. Like,
Yeah. See,
no. Someone else
it's gonna be
go.
funny.
That's more.
Hold on,
Yeah.
that's fine. Look,
Save it. No, save Acer's for last.
Okay,
That's
you
what
know
I'm
what?
saying.
You know what?
I'm
Then
It's gonna be good.
this is what I'm gonna do.
disappointed.
I'm gonna go to the more in our field, which is the content creation, and I'm gonna call out Ugly Sofa Gaming.
Yeah, there you go.
I want your thoughts. I want your
Come on,
thoughts.
bro.
You're coming in next.
we all
You're
saw
coming
your
in
YouTube
next.
video. You was really sad, so let it out.
Yeah. Oh no. Are we getting fired?
There we
Are
go.
we getting
There we go.
there? We go.
Where do we even start?
From the beginning, and we'll take it from there.
Oh my gosh. What was it? 2014? Was it 2015 they announced it?
Sorry, just before you start, if anybody wants to like unmute who is in the video wall, like when someone is giving their opinion, if someone wants to unmute, like, and ask questions about what the person who is currently speaking, feel free to do so. It's not just me and Will, talking to each individual person. Anybody can join in, so feel free to mute whenever you like.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue. Abuse Over Gaming.
I don't even know. Go
well,
on.
I think the first time they showed it was in the back halls at. It was on like 2012. It was like in a back room in one of the shows. But yeah, I believe it was 2014 or 15 when they first showed it to people. So yeah.
First time we saw it live, I guess. I don't remember what trade show it was, but you had the bizarre reveal where you had they showed like snippets of it, and I remember the reaction afterwards was no one had a clue what it was. And I think Alex has talked about it afterwards, and he's been queried like in an interview, and it's like, what was that? And they've got the move controllers, and they're doing like a puppet performance, and it's melted into my brain.
Yeah, that was at E3, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was E3 with the puppet performance.
Yeah, it was E3. Yeah.
I think that'll probably just go down as that's it. That's are there any wrestling fans? Anyone know the Shockmaster just sort of tripping out the gate?
No, but I will be looking it up.
There's a very famous wrestler back in the 80s. The WCW were pitching this guy to be like the next big sort of attraction for wrestling, and it ended up being like quite a large man with a stormtrooper helmet, spray painted silver with glitter. And when he first appears, he wasn't in the script, wasn't meant to happen. He first appears, he trips over a piece of wood, and he falls through like a paper wall that he was meant to appear from, trips over, the mask comes off. It's just like an infamous like bad start, basically. That feels what the E3 trailer was to me. This the first reveal of it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so you took the news and I mean, go back through, I guess, the new video. Like, you know, what are your feelings right now as you try to come to terms with? And I have a personal question for you, actually. Once you answer that one, I have a personal question.
It's honestly, it's so complicated. I don't know where to start with it. It's just everyone, I think, who's like really into the scene, they kind of thought that this very well might happen. Everyone's been sort of prepared for it, but then it's been like a slow moving train crash, I guess. When it finally happened, didn't expect it to happen, even though you knew it was coming. You saw the train coming from 2 years away. It's coming, and then all of a sudden, bam! I don't know. It was shock at first, and then I feel like okay about it, like during the days, and then literally it's right before. I haven't been sleeping well the past like 3 days. Before I go to bed, I just get hit by an overwhelming sort of sense of sadness, and it just sort of washes over me, and I'm functioning on about 2 hours sleep right now.
Well, let me ask you a question then, and we'll move on. Maybe you'll start to feel better about speaking about it when everyone else gets their thoughts out. But you put up a tweet after the Impies saying that you were thinking about turning your channel into a Resident Evil 4 channel, and it was said in a joking way, but I didn't take it as a joke. So I want you to be honest with us right now and say, was that real? Or was it simply a joke?
That was 100% a joke.
Oh, get out of here.
No, it was a complete joke. And I can't believe that some people, I don't know if it's the timing or what, but I thought it was so funny that some people took it seriously. And I was getting reactions on the thing like, oh no, I will follow you to wherever you go next. And Lady Lex was like a sad face. And I was crying. I was reading the responses and literally crying. And I was like, we got to make a video about this now. We've got to pretend to become a Resident Evil 4 channel.
I mean, it plays in, because the thing is in my mind, and I think in other people's minds, it plays into what you were just talking about how we could all see it. We hoped against hope, but we could all see it coming. And we just, you know, it just felt like some people, some of them here, you know, saw it coming and was like, yeah, I'm going to move out now. Like, I'm not gonna wait till something happens and the house burns down. I'm gonna go ahead and get it going. And so that's why I think people thought that you were serious. It doesn't take away from the fact that you won the Impy, but it's like everybody kind of already felt like that was like the mindset, the predominant mindset from most people was just, it's time to move on. I mean, and I know that was ours. That's why we moved on. And while we still were open to do the podcast, you know, it's like we're gonna dwindle it down to, if you really want to be on the podcast, come be on the podcast. We're not going to be searching out people anymore, like badgering people in their DMs to come on. And like, if MM gives us news, that's when we come back. And they gave us news, all right.
Yeah, that's why we're back.
They gave us news, all right. So, but yeah, with that, who else wants to jump in here? Who wants to jump in here? We gotta hold out for the king, apparently. Acert. The king's not ready.
We gotta keep the more inflammatory stuff towards the end, in my opinion. But
you guys mind if I jump in here?
I do not. Jump in.
You go.
Okay, first of all, thanks for having me. This is sort of my first time like actually participating, actually talking to people in the community, like via voice. Like as much as I've interacted via Twitter, I've really left it late in the game to get involved.
Just a little.
Like socially.
Yeah, a little bit, dude.
And
Nice to meet you, though.
Yeah.
You too. I use your character rigging tutorial all the time. I like making characters in Dreams, and that's
More tutorials to come now that Dreams is dead.
Yeah, great. But I think what I want to ramble about a little bit is, this is the first time I've been part of a community where it feels personal that it's ended in a little bit. You know, it feels very sad that, because as much as we contribute as creators, you know, we play, create, and share, this isn't like Dreams wasn't a passive experience for creators. We actually had to put, you know, your heart and soul into it. We had to make something. And for many of us, we made personal things. And so to sort of see it end, to see it fizzle, it feels very different compared to, say, when a multiplayer shooter or when an MMO ceases 100%. To exist. It's kind of weird in that sense. There are many emotions. It's not just like the surface level sadness that it's over, that we've lost something essentially. It's like we've also lost the social aspect to it as well, because when you make something in Dreams, you've got a built-in community there. And I feel like a lot of people haven't necessarily twigged onto the fact that as they jump ship to other programs, that sense of community is not the same. It's not the same if you release something just out into the world on Unity or Unreal Engine. It's very different. We had something like small and friendly here. It's very kind of small and warm. We've got a built-in system. We've got Jen Simpkins to hype us up via the Impsider. That's really cool. That's something you don't get in other programs. Like, to have a professional writer actually hype up your stuff, that's so cool. And yet you do that anywhere else, and you're just another very small fish in a vast pond. And it's sort of hard to put into words what Dreams is, and I feel like that's been the problem from the very beginning. It's so vast. It had its finger in many pies. It tried to be a music creator, like a DAW. It tried to be a sculpting program. But I think the thing I'm most sad about is that these characters, there's no like export options. I can't like grab my characters and sort of run with them somewhere else. I can't export them as like a polygonal model. And that's sad. I would have thought, considering that exists internally, like 3D printing existed. We've seen photos of it on Twitter, for example, that functionality existed internally somewhere. And the fact that it just wasn't, pushed forward and released to the world once things started going south, that seems weird. Like, the whole situation feels weird. And just before I wrap up quickly, sort of a play, create, share game, a user-generated content game, it kind of lives and dies via its community. And so for the game to end without us having a say in it, essentially, is just unfortunate. It feels like, because you've got to put something into it to build it, you know, and to have it end without our say so. It's just, I can't put my finger on it precisely. There are complex emotions, and this is a weird situation.
Yeah,
Because I want to know more about it. I want to know when was this decision made? Because I know MM must have fought for it.
I would
And,
I
like-
would say it was pretty soon. I'd say in the last 3 months, to be honest. But we'll get into that later. But I think this whole decision of dropping live service was not planned at all. I think Sony dropped the bomb on them. There's like,
I'm with you, actually. I think the past 3 months especially, I noticed on Twitter, like a detective, because I'm following most of the Media Molecules, there was a period where things quietened down and there seemed to be like I don't want to say depression, but there seemed to be a lull in enthusiasm a little bit. And I feel like this must sting for them too, because this is their baby.
100%.
They're like the first guys who are actually like doing this properly on PS4. Like SDF modeling it's a weird kind of, like, even in the modeling space, it's kind of a weird, slightly new thing. And then to do that on a console, that's insane. And then to do it as well as they did, that's also insane. And the passion and sort of experience that went into that's immense. And I'm so sad that there's nothing really that fills the gap that Dreams, you know, catered for. Because Womp is great. I like Womp. But it's not there yet. It's still got work to do, and Blender's nice, but it's really easy to make something look pretty in Dreams. Like, the lighting is beautiful and you can make something lovely and flecky. In Blender, it's a lot more sterile. You can get there, but the skill gap is immense.
You also have
So
to remember that those programs are all 1/10 of what Dreams is. Like,
Yeah.
Dreams is an all-encompassing creation engine for everything, whereas these programs that you're mentioning are all singular pieces of a much larger puzzle.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of, again, I keep saying the word sad, but I think that's probably the best word for it. It's just sad that we had this lightning in a bottle, and somewhere along the way it's been squandered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a waste.
absolutely. Completely agree. Like I said, I personally don't believe MM had as much say in this as people think. I think they do still love Dreams, and I do believe they wish they could have continued it. But I just think from the jump, it was approached by Sony as a much different product than what it actually offered. And they just did not see what they had at their disposal. They did not see the fact that MM had done something that was groundbreaking in the sense that if it were given the right legs to run with, it, one, would have grown exponentially faster, as well as it would have shut a lot of things down, in my opinion. This is, again, my opinion. Because when you have people that work in professional tools, have done so for 30 years, and they come on our show and say, yeah, I use these things, you know, I use the normal industry tools when I do my job. I 100% prefer coming home to my console and building it there. Because the first stance most industry professionals of any grade do will just point out what it can't do, why the industry tools are better, and move on. But we've spoken to so many people from many different things. I mean, even my personal conversations with people who aren't really known in the Dreams community because they never really stepped up, but they caught a clip here or there of us. And it's just using it to do interior design work for their company. Like, now I'm pretty sure they probably didn't spend their days in Maya, but or Unreal, but the applications were there. And the one thing that I always turn around, I don't think it's hard to say what Dreams is. nor do I think it's hard to explain what Dreams does. I think that the idea, the pitfall of Dreams as it has ended now, in my opinion, is that it is seen by the industry as a live service. And as a live service, trying to say what that service is, that becomes difficult. But if you look at it for what it actually is, which is a creation engine, it becomes very easy. And then you can go into its applications. And that's where you can say everything. It's just the way my mind sees it. Like, I've heard so many times on the show and outside that it's hard to explain what this thing is. And it's really not, in my opinion. Once again, let me shelter back under that, my opinion. But, we have
explaining something and selling it are two very different things.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues, and this is something that Near Rivers touched on, is that for us, it's not hard to say what Dreams is, right? It's a creation tool. It's an all-in-one package for modelers, music makers, etc. But in the reality of like the corporate grand scheme of Sony needing to sell games, Dreams itself never found a place, and I think that speaks to how revolutionary it is. Something that you touched on, Mighty, was that it brought people who were perhaps experienced in Unity or Unreal into Dreams, and they would be like, this is actually way more fun, way more easy to use. And that's an amazing selling point that was just never touched on. And I think one of the things that people haven't really looked at since this announcement is comparing Dreams to everything else that Media Molecule have done, and Dreams is completely in a whole other world. I think Sony were probably more experienced in the sense that, like, okay, they're just making another UGC game. Okay, why isn't it selling as well as Little Big Planet did? Why are we not seeing like those metrics? Why can't we make DLC for it? Why can't we sell anything else with Dreams? And although there's a ton of ideas out there as to how to monetize Dreams, nothing really stuck. There couldn't really be DLC to it. There weren't really, any like costume packs like Little Big Planet had. So that sort of long-term income just wasn't there for the game. And I think that's where, again, Mighty, you touched on Dreams being viewed as a live service. That's where that idea comes from. It's because a game like Dreams in the games industry today would be a live service, a game that's long-term, that's supported year after year by the devs. But Dreams, like you say, isn't a live service. But that's the closest thing in the industry today that touches on the same things that Dreams does, that kind of long-term support where there's events every year, etc. So this all kind of wraps back to the point that Near Rivers made, where Dreams never really sort of found its place. And that's, I think, what affected Sony's decision to support it into the future. The Dreams isn't a game that can be built up on over multiple years. It's because it's not really a game. It's more of a game engine. It's more of a platform in and of itself. And I don't think Sony's ever dealt with something like that. And because they've never dealt with something like that, it's difficult for them to understand it. And if they don't understand it, it's too much of a financial risk. And now they're paying.
To add on to that.
Hold on before we do that, because people are still joining this room, but I'm hearing that other people can't, and I don't understand because two people just joined. while people are actively still joining. I don't know why.
Guys, it's me.
Are they going to the old?
No,
the
I'm
old
messing with you
Discord?
guys. I'm messing-
I've seen a few people in the old
They're not
Discord.
trying
Sounds like a
hard.
user
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so that, guys, we're in the Pixel Silhouette.
Yeah, I'll repost it. There you go.
Yeah, get it to them as well as the.
Yeah, because that's where Acer was, and he's like,
yeah.
"I'm
I
in the
missed the
lobby."
announcement
Like,
you were
no, you're not,
rebranding.
you
I
idiot.
I don't know when that happened.
We should have left him there.
Yeah, I know. My bad. I shouldn't have invited him.
So, but
I would have figured it out. Like, okay.
It would have been funny. Yeah, I should have just left you there.
In Twitch chat, I'm just gonna be
Okay.
like, "Hey guys, where is everyone?"
so yeah, Noter also posted it. You were supposed to kill that old server too, sir. No. But yeah, we're in the Pixel Silhouette server. So he just posted the Discord link in chat. I'll do it again right now. And go to there and then come to the Made in Dream section, the Lotion lobby there. And everybody should be able to join.
But yeah,
sorry to cut you off.
But to add to your thing, Sean, I think what it ultimately comes down to is the fact that Sony themselves are not. They're run by corporate businessmen. They're not creators themselves. They are not part of the industry, so to speak. And if they were, you know for an absolute fact that the first thing they would have done was getting this game onto PC. If they knew what they had, they wouldn't have shut it down. And that's a problem in this industry now, as we have these super large corporations, and they don't know what they have because they're not part of the industry itself.
Well,
yeah, I would agree.
I actually think the opposite is the problem. Just because Dreams was made by a group of creatives, and Sony as a business entity shouldn't have greenlit the project if they had no plan for like live service monetization to make it last
100% agree.
a few years.
It
So
feels like
it was
the
made by a
baby out
bunch
with
of
the bathwater,
creatives, no plan to monetize it because they're creatives. They just want to make something pure and wholesome, or like a sandbox people can create in. They're like, oh, that'll be enough for everyone to just keep going. But
That's a really
Sony
good point.
should have kept the business hat on and been like, this is not sustainable at all. You need to come up with a way for people to make money on the platform where you get a cut, where you put it on PC or what have you. So, yeah, I think it's fun to play the blame game that we're doing right now. It's because, it's analytical and helps us rationalize how we feel.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Let me go ahead and actually switch over and call on MC Alchemist because he has to leave here in a moment. And I definitely want him to be able to, give his say, basically, before he has to dip.
That was kind of the crux of my argument of why this experiment failed. Because a group of creatives, they weren't thinking long enough into the future, or maybe it's wishful thinking that a platform like this could survive with no other source of income other than selling the game on sale for $8. As soon as that started happening extremely frequently, alarm bells should have started going off in all of our heads. You're that is nowhere near the value that this software package actually has. So it really did need something like a subscription service or something else to just demonstrate that real value it has to not just us but the creators and the future of the platform. Yeah, super interesting to analyze just where it all went wrong, and and it's not all bad. Look at us all here. What are we doing?
Come on, it's so bad, man. Come on, it's so bad. Look at us.
Super strange platform.
You're lost.
It's amazing that we're here at all. So I'll always be grateful that they've created it in the first place, and that it ignited a passion for creativity and making games, and now it's something that I want to go off and do in the future, even if it's still just for fun. Oh, also, not to talk shit or anything, but WOMP 3D is awful. It's horrible. I hate it. I never want to use it. If you use Dreams for 10 minutes, you're No.
Why is it horrible?
But that just speaks.
Because it's browser based.
You
No,
just
yeah,
want
that's
to
fine.
bang your head into the
That's what
wall.
it's
The user interface is terrible. It's clunky. It's just nowhere near as good. Like not even 1% as good. And that just speaks to how tragic this all is, because it really is just a beautifully created software suite, all in one package. It's a marvel. It was way ahead of its time.
Just on that
It's
though,
incredibly infuriating that they couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, no, I just
go
wanted to make this point though. I think it's really important that we drive home the point that Dreams isn't going anywhere. And they've said in their blog post that, the only thing that's ending is their live server support, which is the Impies, Dreamscom, All Hallows Dreams, and maybe like the extra game stuff they do. They're still going to stream, and updates to it. But I think
Well,
as a
people have
base
said-
game, Dreams is like pretty substantial. And so this is something that I was wondering over the last few days since the blog post is how much of an effect Dreams' live server support actually has on the game. Because I've seen so many people just say, okay, well, I'm jumping ship then. And it's like, upon further reflection, is it really worth leaving this whole community just because they're not doing the award ceremony anymore or any updates?
Right.
Like, we're still discovering how this piece of software works. Like, we haven't even discovered it.
Now we know multiplayer and or exporting is not coming. Like at least
Exactly.
people were staying in it because they thought it was coming eventually. But
I mean,
now
that's
we
why.
know it's not.
That's just bad.
At least half of
expectations
us were
versus
staying.
reality.
I'm naive.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
be-
very
Yeah,
naive.
I mean,
yeah.
we're all naive. But, I mean, that
Well,
was
hold
the-
on, no, Pixel
What?
Gorilla.
No.
Pixel Gorilla's not.
Oh no,
He-
no,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
two guys again.
He's the
Can we get
most.
a separate server for these guys?
Sean, I think you make a
But
great
this
point.
news-
It kind of like wraps back with what Near Rivers was saying about community, and the thing that makes Dream special is that it is all of you people, right? It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that it is a revolutionary piece of software, even if we think it is. I do. I know many of us would say it's one of the coolest pieces of software out there, but it's not the software, it's not the business model that makes Dreams what it is. It's the group of people that continue to create within the closed wall. And so I wouldn't call it a failure like MC Alchemist did. I think that's kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because it has been a wild success in what we've been talking about, unlocking the creative potential of like thousands and thousands of people that aren't even represented here. You know, you also have to consider that the player base is way larger than the community that shows up to, a Twitch stream in the middle of a work day.
We can see the player count though.
Yeah, it's like a
I know it's
thousand.
not the same people, but like it's like what 300 to 600, and then I know those aren't the same people always. So I mean,
It's actually
$2 grand,
up since
$3
the announcement. It's actually up since the
It's-
announcement. Yeah.
Of
Finally,
course it
man.
is.
Great sound effect.
And so
I
I'll
love it.
like, emphasize what Near Rivers was saying about like what makes it special is the people, and it's
Yeah.
not live service updates that make this. You're gonna hear people say Media Molecule never invested in the community, but also we're lost without them. Which one is it? Like you got
And also the
Well,
fact that
whoever
Dreams as
says
a
that-
game has had more updates than any other previous Media Molecule game. I think that's important to remember as well.
Yeah,
The LBP, Tearaway all got 3 years a pop, I
Totally,
think. Dreams has
totally.
4.5, 5.
Does
So
the
if you
platform
have
have a
shit,
future
just-
though? It's
okay.
How
So
long
It's
will
the
these
same, it has the
servers-
same
Yeah.
future it used to have. Like, the
Exactly.
expectations are just misguided.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
player count has always been declining steadily. Okay, we can all be real about that. And this announcement is a consequence of that, not the cause of that.
right.
Yeah.
Correct.
I just want to know who, like, well, maybe not names, but the idea that someone actually said out of their mouth that MM does not invest in the community.
I was gonna
That's
show-
that,
No, right?
Show me that person.
Who is
I will
saying
talk-
that?
I'll talk
yeah,
about
that
I'm
sounds.
cherry picking like the worst takes I've seen. I've seen them. They may not be representative. It could just be mixed.
I mean that's just Twitter in general. So
I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus, Media Molecule are the most engaged
dare you.
company I've ever seen with a game. There is no other company ever in the whole gaming industry that is so involved with their community as much as Media Molecule is. Full stop. Like
I
that's
can
just
think of a
it.
couple, but
I think Gorilla
Last year,
agrees.
though?
I
Last
see
year,
him
though?
nodding and smiling at the same time I am, so I think we're kind of on the same page. Like, just make this what you want to. Like, if your enjoyment of Dreams was predicated on the idea that suddenly something would change and the player base would do this, you were wrong all along. It's good that
Correct.
you're aware
Yes,
of
we
what
were.
the realities are now. And so, like, take some time to process that. It's not fun. It is sad. It's a very sad thing to think about, but also you can still keep creating. It is still like the most magical sketch pad on planet Earth, and that's not changing.
Yeah, and the kind of create for fun, like that's never going to go away from this tool. Like,
Yeah.
like
I
that's
think a
and
lot of
that's
people wanted to use it to create for fun and actually use their creations in something outside of Dreams.
Well, that was
It's good for
never
privacy.
that was
No,
No,
never
we know,
promised.
now we
Yeah,
know it's
yeah.
never going to happen.
But it was never
but-
a thing.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
You didn't
That's
know.
just you putting your expectations on the software and not actually addressing what it really was. That's what a lot of the surrounding dead conversations around is people who thought they were going to create careers or create like external content around the software without listening to what the software actually was. They were just hoping that it was going to boost whatever. Like this podcast is a great example of that. It's like you're talking about the software, hoping it's going to boost this thing that you're doing, and like it was never going to do that from the get-go. And so the fact that you can't say it's dead, it's like your thing is dead because of this, but not Dreams isn't dead because of this.
I mean, how many people?
Dreams
how many-
is never going to survive without monetization. I mean, that's just like the business model. Sorry if my audio's bad. I'm on
No,
my phone.
It's all good.
But,
Just how many people were actually like from this chat could hear the openings that we did?
I wasn't there
for it.
I caught
Okay.
it.
Okay.
I like 50%. So if you said some of this,
It was beautiful.
No,
it was exactly
like
the way I think everyone would put it. You know?
Yeah, and
It's been
I
a
don't-
wild ride, but nothing's changed.
Yeah, and so like I don't subscribe to the it's dead, but I do believe that there are things like depending on what you were working on, there are some people who now don't have that venue. And whether that was based off of their misconceived notions of what Dreams would become or anything else, I can't fault people for that personally, because it's only natural to want something that you love to grow and expand. That's just bottom line. It doesn't matter what it is.
It's not disappointing.
But-
I'm not saying it's not disappointing. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's simple that yes, there were things that people wanted that were never in the cards. And then there were things that people wanted that were in the cards, and the deck got shuffled. So yeah, the dead thing is very overstated, but it is still sad to acknowledge that something will not have the growth that you could foresee it having.
I think what you also have to consider as well is, although some of these features were never confirmed to even be in the works, watching Media Molecule grow twice-fold, like from their employee rate and all of the announcements of the server migrations back in the day when we didn't know that it was for this, and all of these exciting moves that Media Molecule was making with Dreams as their primary piece of software that they was currently working on, it was hard not to think that Dreams was going to evolve into a much richer, deeper experience with more accessible options. I mean, that's just my opinion anyway. When you
It's
see
natural. It's a
Yeah.
natural inclination as a human being to fill your gaps of knowledge with fake knowledge.
exactly,
That's like
exactly.
why people personified the sun to explain why it rises and falls, because they didn't know why the sun did what it did. And the same is true of video games, and it's not a Dreams thing, it's just a games thing.
Yeah,
And
I've seen
I
this
think
in other
Gorilla would just
communities,
say,
yeah.
temper your expectations. Don't do that, filling gaps of knowledge with fake knowledge.
Just
And
let
the
it
most
go, just
important-
flood.
the most important pieces of Dreams are still here. Like the community is still here. The tools are still here. There's still the captive audience is still here. At this point, it's like if it dies, it's now our fault if it dies after this. Like clearly, if anyone was still doing what they were doing, like everything they were doing before, it would facilitate better. But it's now us. So if we all leave, if we all go do other things, or just stop making stuff in Dreams and stop having conversations,
People
stop
sound
having
like Megatron to anybody else?
I think. I thought it was just me.
But like,
Yeah, I can kind of make it out, but
one of the things that I see in Dreams is a lot of people.
I was like, I don't know, how long are you guys gonna let him go? I was like, what the hell, guys?
Well, I could understand him.
I just saw everyone nodding their head, like, yeah.
I was like, what do you guys? You can understand.
This is fine.
I can, yeah, could.
Yeah.
Right. Is it? Are we
Hey,
better?
he's back.
Are we
Alright,
better?
can
Are we
you do
better
that
now?
whole thing again?
Hey, there we
Wow.
go. Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying. I was just saying, like, moving forward,
Yeah,
like
you said like
it's
Dreams' head and like none of us
it's
matter.
yeah, Dreams said it's disappointing that MM's not going to facilitate it as much as they used to, but like it's now up to us to not let it die. And if it does die after today, it's our fault. So there's no if you want to point fingers, point them at yourself for stopping talking about it, for stopping posting about it, for stopping making stuff, for stopping sharing. Then the only person to point at is you, because everything that's important to Dreams about making stuff, about sharing stuff, about creating games, about creating music, about showing it to people, about having people play your stuff, it's all still there and it's not going to go away anytime soon. So any other conversation, if you're just going to like abandon it, then I'm going to blame you for the death of Dreams. I'm not going to blame Sony.
Well,
I'm not going to blame
yeah.
MM.
Yeah, I want to.
In a way, it's all become. It's now ours for real. Like the mum and dad are away now, so Dreams has become ours for real. Like we all own it now and can do with it what we want. So I think there's still a community around it. The tools super developed. I think it's at a really good stage. They've even got 2 more updates coming for like a TLC update and some other patches. So it's not like they're kicking the plug out and walking away here. They've actually done this,
which they could have done.
This is the softest way that I think a live service game's ever been given back. You know.
And I don't know about you, SZ73. Certainly true for me. This is like galvanized my desire to work on things and like finish out projects that I've had in my mind in some hodgepodge of scenes over the last year or so. It hasn't demotivated me. It's motivated.
Yeah, this has lit a fire under my ass.
Yeah, well, I forgot you said it before, but like just because, I mean, they never advertised this thing anyway. No one knew it existed anyway. So what's different? Now we're just here together, except now we've got this great community. Now we know the tools. I think we've only all just become ready to do something cool with it. So the next year of Dreams is the defining year of Dreams.
Agreed.
The next year of Dreams is actually where we get to see what can happen. It can still have visibility. It can still get press. It can still have something beautiful created that people will notice. If anything, there's still a possibility we can bring. It's not going to come back to life, but it doesn't. To discard this platform that's brought us so much joy just because there's no more MM picks or no more community events or no more impies. Who cares? I couldn't care less.
And just to reiterate, sorry on that point, MM have said after September they're still going to stream. They're still doing Impsiders. They're still doing MM picks. And I think that's important to remember. Yeah,
Everyone
curation.
should read that press
still
release
happening.
again, because when I read it the second time, I actually went, you know what? There's no bad news in here, really. It's really
it's not much different.
Well, I'm going to miss the
Only
MPs.
your limits now.
I don't know about you guys. I'm going to miss the MPs.
I think the
limits aren't even that bad. Yeah,
I think the limits
so
are
high,
fine.
you're never gonna hit that limit either. Like that's the thing. Is
Yeah,
I'm getting like the worst.
5 gigabytes in Dreams. Is that really high?
We're the
5
worst
gigs
group
is
of
really
people.
high, but
That's
256 is kind of low. But well, it depends on how liberal you use elements.
Well, if the deletion thing comes through the way I think it will, then I don't think the quantity limit is going to be that big of a deal, because I think you'll be able to delete the linked and just upload.
Those are features that I wish they never gave us. Those features. We've actually got new features that I wish we had back then. So even be able to delete stuff and manage stuff. They've even said we've made it so managing things is going to be easier. Technically, we're being left with an upgraded piece of software on PS5. We can still, this thing's got years left in it. Absolutely. Look at the LBP community, for instance, and they went for a decade.
Well, they're
and
still
servers might
going.
drop eventually. It's exactly my
Still
point.
running, yeah.
So I mean, it's
Yeah, you know
it's
what?
not.
I completely understand
that
your
animation
point.
update too. We still got that going.
Well, the only thing I think that some people are just a bit worried about is just since the live service is discontinuing, they're worried about that the servers eventually will also be shut down eventually. Because I think that's
That
one
happens
of
to every.
Well, yeah, they will.
That was always
Yeah,
true. Also,
matter of
right?
time.
Well,
We're
if
just
they
kind of
announce
Yeah,
it,
staring
yeah,
at
that's
it.
it's just like I said with the 10-year rule,
integration
they have
going on.
I mean,
That
if
is
you
a
look
scary
at what
part,
they
like, what
did.
if it's a plug?
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, sorry.
If you look
I
at
got
what
one.
they did, if you look at what they did or what they're going to do with the server update, it signals to me that they're trying to keep that server up for as long as they possibly can. And furthermore, any future success like this next game, like we shouldn't like shun it or like whatever. We should champion everything MM does because every success MM has is a success for Dreams and the servers. So like if they do well with the next game, servers up even longer, guys. So like I feel like they're signaling everything that tells me that the server's going to stay up as long as it possibly can in a realistic way, and it's not going to be like a premature shutdown, like
Yeah,
you
no.
would
I
expect in
got
other places. Yeah.
And I just want to like just say something because obviously I think you guys have already seen like for the people that do intend to move on. I was trying to just make a community just because obviously the Dreams community is the best. You know, I've always said this for the past few years, especially since we're on Twitter. I mean, imagine like we had absolutely no drama in the Dreams community, and this is like 100+ people in a Twitter space, and Twitter's prone to like just subjecting itself
Sure
to
about that?
like
Alright,
destroying.
fair
No
enough.
drama?
I'm glad you haven't noticed any.
I haven't noticed any drama whatsoever. I mean, every now and then people have their issues, but I mean, compared to the rest of the communities, I mean, like literally have
every week.
The Dreams community is great, but to say
yeah, no, it
the best
definitely is.
community
And
ever
it's just
is
like
kind of naive. There
and
are
a lot of
there
the-
are
yeah, go
tons of very good communities. All right.
Yeah,
Like,
there's this
Yeah,
guy. He's pretty terrible.
no. Did you?
Yeah.
He quit Dreams, and then he said he hated Dreams.
Yeah, why is he even here? What's going
Yeah,
on?
what are you doing here?
I'm not even sure. I'm
Like on a road there or something.
So just to reinforce some of you guys' points, because you guys were mentioning that obviously with people like moving ship because maybe they have improper expectations to begin with, which is fair. I think even I had some improper expectations. I think a lot of stuff that I was doing is like, oh, once multiplayer comes, player base will go back up, and then that project I've been working on for the past 2.5 years with my team, we'll probably get that player base that we're kind of looking at. Well, at least I would say a minimum, just like double what we're getting now. And in that popping up, which is completely fine. I think that me and my team are still going to complete the game anyways because we just spent so much time on it. But I think some people just have a different perception because, especially in the game dev aspect, and what Dream is definitely a developer's tool. It's just like, I guess people, since they've seen this as a developer's tool, and just like any other developer's tool, there's a way to both capture an audience, but also I know exporting was never said, but just like, I guess since people like, oh, other tools have done it, so maybe Dreams can do the same. Again, I know it's a misconception on our part, which is definitely fine. But I guess like since they thought that a 10-year plan, this stuff must be on the cards or whatnot, so some people were probably just saying just for that. So I understand after like this announcement, some of the people will decide to go to different engines, which I want to help continue an outlet with continue the community with that. But I think that's where it comes from. It's like people were kind of expecting with this 10-year plan, it would develop itself into a tool just like every other tool has been out there. Because I mean, we've all tried different stuff. 100% Dreams is head over heels over all of them. It's just like the workflow is a lot better. Everything's live. You don't need to wait for stuff to be baking and stuff like that. It's way more fun. Dreams has always been my piece. I've literally played every single day from when my kids go to sleep till like maybe like 2 a.m. in the morning, and it's just been a huge joy, and I'm definitely not gonna stop it. It's just I think that with those people that wanted to continue to make a game but have a different audience, I understand that why some of them want to kind of move on to a different engine, which I'm telling you, everyone's not gonna be satisfied. Like we've had it too good with Dreams. Everything else we go to is not gonna even remotely get close to it. Even when these engines have billions of dollars behind it, 10, 20 years in development, and none of these are even close to Dreams, which is just, it's just very unfortunate. That we all just kind of wish that we knew that this was going to become big. For some reason, it was just a disconnect in marketing, or just Sony's not believing it. And unfortunately,
Yeah, who released because there was all this hype behind Mega Penguin, and everyone was excited because we didn't know what it was going to be. It was this big announcement, something big's coming for Dreams, and then this penguin pops up. And to me, that was my
That's your live service there, Gunner.
reality check. And that Dreams was not going to become everything that we thought it could be, right? That Dreams was just a game, and it's a tool. We see it as a tool because we use it as a tool, but Sony doesn't see
I
it
just
that way.
realized. Sorry, Noder. I have to say this. The initials of Mega Penguin is MP, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
coming
good. People
That was
speculated
smart.
that.
They would've been like, oh man, they just announced MP.
Yeah. Sony never saw this as a tool. They saw it as a game. It wasn't profitable, right? Dreams didn't bring in a bunch of money.
It's sold decently, I thought.
Yeah, but compared
Yoda,
to
are you able to turn down your mic just a little? It's
absolutely,
It's just
is that better?
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm deaf.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Noder Peaks is mic'd.
Yeah, so
said I'm deaf.
thank you. But to me, Megan was a wake-up call, and Nautical Squatch, I mean, he put it as bluntly as you can. This is a game. Sony sees it as a game. Now, who's seen Alex's tweets recently? Not everyone saw it as a game. Not the people at MM. A lot of MM didn't. I would speculate that's why Kareem left. I could be wrong. That's just me.
It sits on a spectrum. It's not
Stop
black and
there.
white. It is a game. It's not a game. It's a game engine tool set that lives on the spectrum between accessibility and like enterprise viability, maybe. And those are on opposite ends. And so the reason why people say, "Gosh, I can't find myself having as much fun in another tool," is because Dreams was designed by game designers. They designed for fun interaction. It's literally their job. So they were turning the creation process into a gamified fun experience deliberately, and that comes at the expense of the tool being viable in other ways that it's not. And so it's like you just can't have it both ways, and they definitely nailed I think they did pick one, and I think they nailed it.
What did they pick?
They
It's not
picked
fun
fun.
to play. It's fun to make, but like as a player,
right,
it's
that's what
just
I
like
was saying.
99% shitty games that we all.
That has
make.
everything to do with the skill. That has everything to do with the skill set of the community. It has nothing to do with the tool set.
I'm saying like from a game point of view, like the creators, it's great, right? But for the players, it's just a bunch of like crappy games for the most part. So like from a game point of view, from playing, it's like,
Mega
okay.
Penguin was
and then
good.
from the tool set point of view, it's the best tool set. Like it's unbelievable. It's all in one, and you can't use it unless you're exporting music. And it's like,
can't
pick one. Like, in my opinion, and so like for example, to make it more fun, multiplayer would have made it way more fun from a player. And then from a tool set point of view, just let's use the tool set for like our projects, not
Look at a game.
outside of Dreams.
Fall Guys is nothing. It has no.
Who let this guy in here?
Let me see the thumbs up. How'd you do
Little
that?
substance, but the multiplayer aspect of Fall Guys is what makes it fun. And so Dreams would have had a bunch of like little Fall Guys clones, little Mario Party clones, and that would have brought probably a bigger player base. But it's something that's never going to happen, and we know that now.
I mean, maybe, but also what Acer is saying is that like 95% of the games you play are not fun. They're just kind of stuff put together by kids smashing toys together, and every multiplayer entry you would find would be just as bad. Like your hit rate on multiplayer
okay, so the
games
difference
would be
is
as bad or worse.
You're playing with your friends makes a bad multiplayer game fun, and you're ignoring the fact that there would be actually like good multiplayer games. But like in Little Big Planet, like they were all crap, but like it's fun. Like those bomb survival things, like it was fun just running around with your friends on mic.
It's pure speculation, but I think you and I are on different sides of the coin.
We're all
here.
speculating.
Right,
so
yeah,
when you
but I mean,
play
I think it's
Dreams-
just a pipe dream to believe that one feature would have changed the course of the
I mean,
software. It's nonsense.
Personally, I think
99% of the games I played were Acer, so I blame him.
Is that true? I think that's
Acer, when you play Dreams, were you searching by new or what?
I don't play Dreams. The only Dreams I play are like
You just said 90% of the
I have
Dreams
very
were
strong
terrible.
opinions about this game. I don't play.
Where are you getting these metrics from if you don't play them?
I've seen. Have you played through the jams? But
No, I don't play through the jams.
I spent
The jams are bad.
so much of my time making stuff, and then a lot of the stuff, the majority of the stuff I played was from like you guys, like the stuff that people spent like years on, maybe not years, but you know what I mean.
When you played,
I didn't find the crappy games like the Dream Surfing, like it's not fun for me. Like what? Because they're not like. It's like watching YouTube videos that aren't good. Like you give it like 5 or 10 seconds and then you click on to the next one. Like I'd rather just make my own game. But like that's why I was here, to make games, right?
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought the YouTube thing up too, because YouTube, how much content does YouTube actually put out onto YouTube?
Oh my god.
Not much, right? But
so what do you, sorry, what do you mean?
It's all UGC. It's all the players, and it's not like there's a community manager and they're having these big YouTube events and stuff like that.
There is a community manager. It's the algorithm. It tries to put the best content in front of your eyes, right?
Yeah, but we still have the curators. I mean, they're not going anywhere. What I'm saying is that
agreed.
This has now become the YouTube. There's no like how do you say it? SC73 Scott, right? Scott. Like Scott mentioned. Thank you.
Yes.
Like Scott mentioned earlier, I mean, like the parents are away now, the kids will play, and it's our platform now. We'll do whatever we decide to do with it.
I don't really understand that. Like, it's been like this for the last 2 years. The only thing that's changed is we're not going to get any more updates and no more like those 3 events, right? DreamsCon, the Halloween thing, and Impies. But everything else,
it is just like business
still
as
there.
usual.
Nothing's
Yeah,
changed.
It's business.
Yeah,
as
but
usual.
now we know what we're not getting. That's the
Yes,
difference.
yes.
So,
Because it's a very MM thing.
Yes,
it's a
we
very
do.
MM thing that is. How many years are we waiting for the game to come out? It drove me nuts that extra year they added at the end.
That's why
And
it's
for-
frustrating.
now
we
it's
spent
gonna
so
be
much
another
time
year.
on this, and
Well,
Yeah, so look,
go ahead.
No, please go.
Well, no. I was gonna say, because I thought there was a pause in there, and there's been one person who's been really quiet, and I just want to call him out. So, Pizza Craft, I know you're working while we're also doing this, so I'm not trying to put you on the spot too bad.
Sorry.
But I just wanted. Oh no need to apologize. But is there a point that you wanted to drive home, or or have they pretty much done it all for you?
They've kind of done, like, I just saw it as like a wake up call for a lot of people, where they thought, like everyone said, this was going to be something way bigger than it was. But I never really saw it that way. I'm grateful for everything I got out of it. I mean, I got a job. I'm animating now from home. I got a lot of friends out of it too. I mean, I flew across the country to meet a few people. So like that's everything that Dreams has given me is like way. Like it's worth more than what
I'd do it all again.
Now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for it dying, which I never thought. That's why I posted that one thing where it's like the Titanic, and I'm playing my song because like I never thought it was dying. Like everyone's panicking, but I'm just gonna sit here and play Dreams until the very end, right? Like that's my go with it. I'm gonna make my kart racer, and then the only reason I'm switching over to Unreal is because I want that kart racer to be multiplayer. So. That's the only reason.
There we go. It's closed.
Yeah, the guy in the Titanic that play the violin, Pizza Craft. Do you know what happens to them?
Yeah.
Oh shit! No.
Yeah. Well, the ship is Dreams, right? We're gonna go down with the ship.
Titanic.
Like I don't. As long as it takes, like if it dies like in a year or two, like then
be around until the servers are actually off.
Yeah, then it's dead. Yeah, I mean, what is dead? Like you guys or people say it's dying. What does that even? What is dying? Like honestly,
even when it's dead, like I don't know what the hell that means. Maybe just like the.
Well, it means the servers are down and you can't play the game.
This is such a good tool to like prototype games quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like I'm still going to continue using it because when I go over, because I'm using other programs right now. When I go into these programs, you got to go in with a plan. With Dreams, you can just sketch. It's like a sketchbook. You can draw stupid shit. I was making limpies yesterday. I made like a sunflower with butt cheeks. Like I could do whatever the hell I want in Dreams. I cannot do that in Blender because it will take me forever and it's not worth it.
Here.
Yes. So that's what I'm going to be doing. It's never going to really die for me, but I mean, everyone else, it seems like they're jumping ship because they think
well, for you, it's a prototyping tool, but for other people, they want to make games that other people play. And for them, if there's less players, it is dead because they're going to make a game, and then
I still think there's going to be more players if you were to release it on Steam.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's okay. Definitely, that's
like a drop of water.
So much more work.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Near Rivers take is that like the thing that part of what makes the magic here is that it's small, which makes it ironic to me that people are like chomping at the bit for the golden feature that will make this piece of software explode, because now you're a small fish in a big pond and all of a sudden it's a lot less attractive fun.
That's true. Ironically, unfortunately, I think that's why it got canceled. The numbers were just a little too low, which makes me sad. I mean, for me, it was all worth it just because I feel like for a while I was like, an artist, but I was like, oh, I don't know if I even enjoy this stuff anymore. I feel like it's so hard to make these things. But with Dreams, I found something that I could just do, and I would just spend hours doing it and not even think about it. And for that, just having that, and I've already started learning other stuff just because I want to. And just finding something like that, to me, that's the value. That was a success. It was all worth it. And I'm still going to play. It's just so fun to create in Dreams. That's what I'm going to miss when the plug does get pulled. It's just the fun of just creating a Dreams.
I will say, though...
I think everyone who's trying to move, we're all still staying on Dreams, definitely.
Yeah, I wanted to make the point, though, that I think, and I brought this up in my response video to the blog post, I do think that the lack of focus on the play aspect of Dreams was a mistake. I made the point in my video of comparing Dreams to LBP, and I think Little Big Planet nailed the play, create, and share ethos far better than Dreams did, in the sense that each pillar of play, create, and share was equal, and so the game was just a really polished package. Whereas I think with Dreams, the whole focus is on the tool set, the whole focus is on making things, and then while yes, you can then share your stuff and people can play them, like that's a feature in the game, actually playing Dreams isn't the main focus of the package. And it's hard to be just a player in Dreams. You're kind of forced to at least try and make something in it. And if you can't make anything in Dreams, it's kind of difficult to stay in it, which is the experience that I had coming into the game anyway. Like when I first got Dreams, I thought it was going to be the next Little Big Planet. But when I got in and realized that there wasn't really anything to play at the start, and all that was there was this software level package of tools, it was completely overwhelming. And I think that's where the game shrinks. And while, Wathcloth, you mentioned that one of the good things about Dreams is that it is small and it is niche and there's a tight-knit community. One of the benefits of Little Big Planet was that it had the massive player base, and then from that you had the small niche creators at the top making all of the great content that could be played by hundreds of thousands of people. But as time moves on now with Dreams, that player base is just not there. Even though there's a lot of content, I think it's too late now for creators to get the recognition that they might want from their creations, especially now considering the fact that creators can't export any of their work. And I'm not really a big, I don't care really that you can't export stuff. Yeah, unless you like animation or you make music, right? Like that can be taken out. But
can I ask a question? So there's a lot of creators. They've all got their cameras on. Next week or next month, show of hands, how many people are playing Dreams?
I haven't played in a year. Sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You had a lot of things to say, Asa, for someone that's not played in a year. A lot of
I am out of here.
My PS5 is downstairs right now.
That is, to be fair, of the creators, that's more than I thought, and that does make me a little bit happy.
I think there's a relationship, Sean.
I play the thing every week.
Yeah, I think
I
there's
watch people play Dreams. Does that count?
Yeah,
the challenge that Media Molecule had there, Sean, is
that makes you a pervert.
Relationship between creating and playing. And it's so much easier in Little Big Planet or like a game like Mario Maker to make something that's playable. It's way hard to make something that's playable in Dreams due to the liberal nature of the creation tools. Like you can make so much more, but because it's closer to a real tool than those other tools on that spectrum I talked about, it's harder to get to something that's fun to play. And so that I think also has a huge part of it.
I was going to say, playable is pretty easy, but fun is not.
I think
that's part of the problem,
definition,
too.
though, between a game engine and a level editor. Like
Yeah,
that's the main
which is
definition.
why it's a shame that the game has been well, not shut down, but the game isn't being supported anymore because Dreams needed 10 years really for everybody to understand properly the tools and to get to its potential. 3 or 4 years is not enough for Dreams. It's enough for Little Big Planet, but it's not enough for Dreams. No,
Yeah,
clearly not.
I know what he's saying. He's saying like from the time it releases, we have us who are good at this, learning the tool for 6 to 12 months, and then working on something for 12 to 18 months, and now that's today.
And that's today. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think 10 years. A couple years. Yeah. To make the good content. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we just had the Impy Awards with Trips Voyage. Trips Voyage set the bar, but that like the sky is the limit with this game, and the fact
crazy,
now
like,
that
I feel like
all we're getting is like the 3 years worth of content is, it's disappointing.
Like I've always kind of seen our stream as kind of the high bar. It's still pretty crazy that we haven't beat the bar yet. Like Media Molecule, of course, the gameplay of our stream is like the most crazy thing ever, but just the polish, the overall, the voice acting, the story, that type of thing, just everything combined. I still think there's a lot of room there.
It's hard. It's hard to do well.
We still,
How long did our stream take?
I mean, they had
it just has to do with
team,
teams
right?
mainly. Yeah, it's with
There's
teams.
still time.
I'm actually surprised that we haven't really seen more like
They had
really.
a team that was getting paid. And
Oh,
we
okay,
had
yeah, of course, yeah.
teams that do it for passion, and it's a little.
You can still make a really big game, but the problem
People
is these new
have.
limitations we're going to be getting. Yeah,
The Dead
I'm talking about the
Dead
new
Zone 2
limitations
game.
we're
I don't
getting.
know how that's going, but like it looks amazing.
I mean, yeah, it looks incredible.
It does.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
These new limitations are definitely going to make things harder for everyone.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because you can
It's hard-
micromanage
I don't know.
like the
It's hard to say.
256 creations you have to work with.
256.
Whether that's online and local, respectively, either way. But that 5 gigs and 1 gigs, that's eventually going to run out. No matter, you're going to have to start deleting entire dreams and old games if you want to make new stuff. That's just inevitable now.
Yeah, but I mean, the
How
same
it-
thing was the case for Little Big Planet, and nobody cared then. Like, nobody was crying out for more than 30 level badges. I don't think, like people will just delete stuff,
People
it's
don't like
just-
the concept of a limit and will virtually never reach it.
Yeah.
I feel like I have 250 objects in one level sometimes, though. I don't know.
How did you manage
It all
that?
depends on how big of a thing people want to make
Probably not that many, but
and how stubborn they are willing to try to make that big thing.
I don't think the 5 gigabyte limit is big of a problem as most people make out. I mean, for some people, like Elka that was making Avatar, yeah, he's going to run into a problem. He was making a huge ass game, but for the majority of people, like Thermo, for instance, 99% of people in Dreams complained about Thermo, but never actually met its actual potential. Like 1% of people actually utilized the Thermo of Dreams. to its
Somehow every
absolute
game I
fullest.
made hit it every single time, but no, the
suck at optimizing.
I hit the thermal.
Gotta get Scott.
I'll come on. Where do you live? I'm gonna. I'll show you. The Thermo is not, especially after that update. Oh my god, the Thermo is not the
major
issue.
change.
The 5
No,
gigs
but
kind of
it's
sucks.
just using that as an example. Like, people complain about the Thermo all the time, but yet nobody's using it properly. The same will be with the 5 gigabytes.
Yeah, but nobody likes
The short
optimizing.
term, yes.
Like with Thermo, you got around it with changing scenes, but with the 5 gigs, like you're gonna have to delete. There's no like optimizing that you're gonna have to delete your shit. Which, all right, I mean,
You can
fair enough.
optimize.
And you're not gonna hit that for a couple of years unless you're just going crazy.
Longer.
I mean, in Dreams terms, like 5 gigabytes is pretty big, isn't it?
It's a
I'm
lot.
not sure. I'm not sure how the data
256
conversion works.
items is not that much in my
Yeah.
opinion, but you can just
but
combine
yeah.
it into scenes, so it's not. I don't know. It's hard
I've
to
only
say.
got,
It
like,
really is
1.5
hard to say
gigs
until.
with my stuff currently, with what I've already made. With
What?
everything I've already made, like all the games I've made and haven't released, and all the games I've made and
Which
threw
is a lot,
away
by the
and-
way, guys. Which is a lot.
Yeah, and all the games I've made and released, I'm only at 1.5.
You're at
Yeah,
1.5
and-
gigs?
Yeah,
and
after
it's
this many
important to
years.
remember
Yeah,
that everything
5
you've
gigs is
made
a
so
lot.
far won't apply to the new limit, which is
That's
another
true, too.
aspect of the blog post that people are overlooking. Everything that's made so far in Dreams will not apply to the new limit. You
Yeah, but
just
here's the
get
thing.
that
Let's
space.
say I make a placeholder element now in preparation for September 1st.
Yeah.
I edit that thing after September 1st. Does it suddenly count now?
That's
That's the
very
question.
important. We don't know.
Any
You know.
news?
Ask
That's
that
a
on
big
Tuesday.
question.
Let's find out on
Any
Monday.
new size?
Does it count? Amazing.
It's gonna count. Any new size, like they're gonna look at how much you have file size wise on the server now, and then anything after that's gonna start.
That makes
counting.
sense. So we were thinking like if you edited an existing file, the whole file counted. But if it's just the additional size, that's fair. I think.
I'm sure it's just like they're
That
gonna
makes
look
sense.
at the number
Yeah, probably
now and
sense.
add 5 to it is what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's awesome then. 5
They'll
gigs.
probably
a
answer
ton.
that on the and also that's best case scenario because like they say it's going to keep going, but how long?
We don't.
Who knows?
I
I
mean,
mean, that's
how long
like
is
the
Little Big,
relevant
is Little Big
thing.
Planet 2 still going?
2 years for all we
Like,
know.
Is it?
No, the servers are down for that, but you can still
Little,
like
Little
make
Big
stuff.
Planet 3 is still alive, and you can
3
play
still going?
retroactively. You can play, other than some levels which there were issues in, you can still play Little Big Planet 1 levels. You can still play Little Big Planet 2 levels and Little Big Planet 3. But what you can't
when did
play is the
LBP3
story
release?
campaigns.
Like
2014.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was talking about this
so that's
earlier.
been 9
There's-
years.
Media Molecule is still doing the curation for Dreams. They plan to continue that, the streams and stuff. I'm not sure if it's happening today, but at least 5 months ago, there was still someone in Sumo Digital, a community manager, or someone working with the community, whose job it is 5 months ago at least was to still pick Sumo Digital picks, or
awesome.
what have you.
Yeah,
for Little Big
Stephen
Planet 3.
Isbell, the community manager for
go.
Little Big Planet, is still doing team picks to this day.
Dreams as it is not going to die for probably
No, and if
another
something
9 years. at
special
least.
is created, which we know this year, your cats are all going to make something amazing. They did say they'll bubble that up. They'll use their power with Sony. They'll give it visibility. They're not, I think they want to see what we're going to do. They're not like, oh, we don't care anymore. They'll support it. I mean, they're even changing the audio updater, the audio importer, to a new version to make it more robust, and there's no limits now. As I said, they're not leaving us with a half-finished product. I think
Not
they're
at
leaving
all.
us with something that's really evolved, and then it's up to us how much we care about the player base. But I don't think I don't think it was ever about how many people are playing stuff. It's literally a creators platform, and people can still develop a project up to the point where they can show proof of concept. They can still use it to visualize what their ideas are to investors. There's so many ways to use it still that isn't just people playing the game. So I think that's going to be its future. But yeah, they're going to support it. And if something really cool comes out of it, they're going to push it just like they did. I think Jen even said something the other day that she couldn't walk away from this. She'll continue to support indie gaming, and this is indie gaming.
I think we were extremely lucky that they decided to do the server updates when they did, because I think if they didn't, then this whole situation would be a completely different scenario, because they've already invested in the servers. So Sony's like, well, we've already spent the money, you might as well crack on with it. Like, imagine if they didn't do this server change when they decided to, and then Sony decided to shut it down. Like, this whole situation could be completely different.
Abby knew at DreamsCon. Abby knew already. It's obvious.
Even before.
They have to have known back then to get their ducks in a row for now.
That's when the server was announced.
So last year.
Yeah, so
Like
even
last
prior to
summer.
DreamsCon, they knew.
They knew. Of course they knew. It's a huge multi-million-dollar company. Of course they knew.
Yeah, the numbers are there too. It's not weird.
What you're saying?
And all
They
all the
knew.
hirings that we've seen have all been for the next project.
It must have been.
Yeah, I think it's part of the reason why they adjusted some of their Trello board around that time too, because they kind of knew what was going to be possible and whatnot.
Are you saying that they knew? You're saying that they knew that they were going to stop live support back at DreamsCon?
Yes.
I think they did. You could see. I mean, I'm not making it up. I think you could see it
No.
the way Abby was very strange about the way she was trying to tell us what's coming, but not really saying what's coming, but saying it was going to make this.
And one of the things they said was when they mentioned the scalable servers that were coming to Dreams, they mentioned that they presented it as a good thing. They said this is an opportunity for us to bring more players to the game. That's what they said at DreamsCon.
I mean, didn't Abby say that they was putting the dreams into our hands, so to speak? I'm more sure she said something like that.
No.
I'm not sure. Fair
There
then.
was I've watched it very recently. There was definitely a reference to the fact that ultimately the goal of this server migration, hopefully we can get more players into the game. The paraphrasing, but that was the intent of
Did
it.
they tell us like more updates and that type of thing? I don't know. Like, of course, at this point, it doesn't really matter anymore. But
Do you guys think it's fair that they did announce the end of life service back then?
That would have
Because
been suicidal in a different way, though.
Yeah.
That's not how PR works. They're not going to go, hey, everyone in a year, this game's going to switch off, because it would just spook the horses.
I think they should have, though, because I think a lot of people are going to be.
You're not the PR manager.
Yeah, no,
That
but
would've not been good.
I think they should have, because they're pretty much doing that anyway. I mean, September may as well be a year, and in my
It would've hurt
opinion, I
sales.
think. Well, yeah, but I think a lot of people are like going to be upset now that all these events that we've come to love, all of them that just went by, those were the last ones. So if you were holding off on something for
That's true.
a Dreamscom booth, or if you were holding off your big project for the next Impies, well, tough luck, because those things that just went by, those are the last ones.
But you have to remember that Media Molecule have to do what Sony says, and in Sony's eyes, it's hard cheese. We don't care.
Yeah.
We want money. We don't care about your community or how great they are. All we're interested in is the investment that we've made and the return that we're going to get. So here's what you're going to do it. That's
at the same time
the way it is.
PlayStation's strategy moving forward, they've got 12, 13 live service games to launch within the next year and a half, 2 years. This don't look good. This isn't a good start for it. This isn't.
Well, I mean, when you say live service, right?
This is proclaimed as a live service. I'm not proclaiming as a live service.
Media Molecule doesn't have any meaning behind it.
A live
service argument, like calling this a live service game, has no meaning whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like live service games make money.
Yeah.
Like over time.
Well, that's why they just bought Bungie.
Because
Destiny.
Bravery and innovation have to justify themselves financially as well. It can be the bravest program in the world, but it's still going to make money. And I think the idea that, let's be honest, I think Sony lost money on this entire exercise, and I don't think they can.
100%.
If they made money on this,
there is no way that they made money on this game.
Let me
No
ask
way.
a question though, because this is something that I've seen people say in the community, and I it sounds good to my ears, but I haven't really gone over it in my head. Because someone was saying, like, if it was the fact that the game didn't make money, where was the attempt to monetize it?
Yeah, I've seen that too, and I think that's pretty naive.
And
I have no idea. What we don't know
but
is
what was the thing?
plan.
I don't know, and I'm saying this straight out. I have no thoughts on it yet at all. But it, like I said, it sounded good to my ears. Didn't think about it. But to hear, I think it was, what was it you, Dax? Was it you that just said it was naive?
Yes.
Okay. Explain to me, and I'm truly asking, not trying to catch you in a gotcha or anything.
Totally.
Why was that? Why is that naive?
So it's the same thing I mentioned earlier. It's lack of absence. Let me fill in lack of information. Let me fill in fake information. Because the person that's saying, why didn't we see any attempt at monetization? We don't know that there wasn't an attempt. We don't know what happened internally. We don't know what sort of business decisions or experiments or papers or all the work that could have been done to investigate the viability of monetizing the product. We don't know what did or did not occur. Just because we didn't see anything public facing has no bearing on whether or not that happened.
Can I ask you a question? Forward facing, there was no public monetization. Media Molecule wasn't asking us for any money. But how much money do you think they got paid? They obviously got paid. Do you guys think they got paid for Mercedes-Benz? And do you think they got paid for Jumanji? And do you think they got paid for Ghostbusters?
Not what it cost to develop it for like a decade, you know?
But did they get paid?
Wasn't those?
Sure. Let's hear from Rabies. He's been trying to talk for a while.
Wasn't those films Sony pictures?
That was going to be my second thing, was to try to point out some people who haven't gotten a chance to talk yet. But I just wanted to think about it because I do know for a fact that they did speak with people regarding ideas of monetization. I haven't, specific people, but yes, it's just things that, like I said, couldn't talk about before.
And there's
now,
like
as far as the
no
show.
world in which a piece of software like this with a team like this didn't do the work, even if we didn't see the outcome of the work. It's just weird to assume the worst like that.
Okay.
Rabies.
And now Rabies.
Did a single one of you ever fill out the form to be part of the beta of monetizing your?
Yes.
How did it go?
As smooth as possible.
Okay.
How did it go in what way? What do you mean? I sent it in and they were like, "You're good to go. Do it." And
that's it? Like
literally, yeah, I filled it. So I wanted to add Dreams music to my Laser Bounce game, mobile in Steam. So I filled it out. I said I filled out. I mean, have you seen the form? It's okay if you haven't. I'm just wondering. Yeah. Okay. So I filled the whole form out. I sent it to, I think, Tom or something.
It was like 3 boxes, right?
It was a bit. You had to like
long.
it was a good amount. You had to like explain like when this like your plans and stuff. I don't want to get too much. It was a while ago. Yeah, and then he got back to me and said, "You're good to go. Just make sure to credit Media Molecule or something like that." Again, it was a while ago, but yeah, it went extremely smoothly.
One more sec, Rabies. Repeat the initial question that you just asked because people are having a really hard time hearing you. You're coming in really quiet.
Wyatt, that's turning you up, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, so I turned you up, but yeah,
All
let's.
So the question was like, had any of you who create gone through the process of that beta program to like, you know, monetize creation, or like or go off in that direction. I think that was their first attempt that was publicly visible to turn Dreams into something that could like make Media Molecule and then Sony and turn money. I think all they had to do was like do the second phase of that, which just never came. Essentially, if you had a pick, this is me speculating, but it obviously could have been something like you just getting approval to make your content paid content. And then the next step, which was what Mark really wanted, putting it on the store.
Right.
You still have to play by the rules. And the rules, many people were not following, as you all know, like about copyright and about, well, optimization so that it runs smoothly, because PlayStation has like quality control standards. So those were things to consider. I want to respond to some of the other like ideas about using like YouTube as an analogy, and how like YouTube doesn't have like a community manager or some such. If any of you remember how Vimeo was operating like over a decade ago, they did, and they had a large, vibrant community of video makers, and they were teaching each other how to become filmmakers, and they ran their own film festivals. All of that is gone now, and it's just a product for enterprise, because that's how they make money. And it's pretty much the same thing.
Did you guys turn them up a little bit or no? Because
I mean,
No, you're fine. We can hear you. I turned you up to max, but
yeah, I've turned him up to 141%. Maybe I'll put it up.
Whack him up to 200.
Yeah, I'll whack you up to 200. See if that helps.
Maybe he's whispering.
yeah, and don't
I
talk
can
like
hear
you're
him
being held
perfectly.
hostage either.
He's just
no,
a
he's
very
just
well,
soft spoken. It's fine, but
he's a
no,
soft-spoken
yeah.
man.
So Vimeo, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that about Vimeo.
I wanted to bring up. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to bring up an idea, and again, I'm going back to the whole LBP comparison. I feel like they nailed at least some small aspect of monetization when it came to, get like UGC games with LBP.
Yep.
The whole costume pack thing that Little Big Planet has was unbelievable. So many people paying for particular costumes and whole packs just so they could decorate their sack person. I don't know why paid imp customization wasn't there at launch. Like one of the many things that LBP nailed that just wasn't there in Dreams, that I thought, oh, okay, well, that's weird. Like, why would they not do that? Obviously, you can't make like level packs or like they did in LBP where they're selling particular tools, because I think if you remember the water pack or whatever in LBP, where you could only use water if you paid for like the Pirates of the Caribbean pack or something, I don't know. But like imp customization definitely, I think, could have been monetized. and as well as like 100 other things that you could think of. But
Is
I
there
don't
a
know.
difference between Disney, like on Little Big Planet, they had, you can have an Iron Man pack, the Avengers pack, and is there a difference between Sackboy dressing up as Iron Man, and you can make levels and you can play as Sackboy dressing up, cosplaying as Iron Man, or Disney releasing a asset pack for you to play as Iron Man in the game as an Iron Man puppet with Iron Man assets, Avengers assets? Is there a difference between the two?
The problem is I can't animate a Sackboy Iron Man doing lewd things in Little Big Planet, but I can.
I can. I'll hold you to that. I can actually.
I'm 100% serious. Any big company is going to protect their IP very preciously.
But that's why I only specified imp customization. Obviously, you couldn't sell anything like that.
I think it's very similar, but the only difference is like you can't see. Like a big thing was like you got to see other people's really cool paid costumes in multiplayer, but in Dreams you just have your own, and it's cool. It's definitely
the big thing is you played as your custom character in other people's things.
That's another important. Yeah.
Customizing your imp is like the most irrelevant thing you can possibly do.
It's still something.
So was customizing
I agree though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a democratized space, so I don't think MM were ever thinking any monetization seriously, because I think it breaks the concept of what it was trying to achieve, which is just the free exchange of ideas and creativity. And I think as soon as you start charging for a texture pack or a feature, you split the player base again. I don't think it works the same way.
You could just now we're in a since they didn't monetize actually, so I mean. I think in hindsight, it actually would have helped. But the current player base, I think more people would have continued. If I would have continued Dreams support longer, if they had the income, if they found a way to actually monetize it.
Yeah, I don't think asset packs is the way to do it.
The player base numbers are never going to be high enough to make them money. I mean, they must have spent 20 mil, 25 mil on this. Let's be honest. Over the years of all that stuff and all that development time, there's never going to recoup it. So monetizing something for the sake of getting a pittance back. And then you've created this whole ecosystem of someone's just going to do, as you said, the Mario face over and over again and put $5 in it. I wouldn't be enjoying Dreams because I'd just be going, now we just get another garbage marketplace like there is in every other application.
I mean, it's the same reason we don't have multiplayer. It's just not worth the
It's our fault that Dreams failed because we didn't make enough games, to be honest. Why haven't we?
Well,
it's our fault, man.
Let me.
If they wanted to make money from it, they would have charged for it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They give it away. None of us really paid for it. All of us got it on the beta, right? So we all paid $30 or something.
Oh, I bought it. I bought it.
The whole thing was free,
and I bought the beta. Yeah, I spent like $70 in total.
The game was. Oh, it was.
I've spent $100 grand on software in the last year that I hate. So for the business, I hate it.
I think they should have launched at full price. I think they should have launched full RRP, full price as a regular game.
What they should have been was a big box of the PlayStation 4 with a VR headset, move controls, a copy of Dreams, a Dreams box, and gone, this thing makes games. They never even tried that. That would have been the easiest thing for Sony to do.
100 quid, whatever, yeah.
They didn't do a box.
They didn't market it to say that it made games. It's just there's so much that was wrong with it. But like even releasing it at full RRP, like Ugly Sofa said, that still wouldn't have helped. Like we'd still be in the same situation we are now because there's just not enough people buying it in the first place for it to even recoup any cost for Sony to have any interest in it.
Why is that?
Sony's probably got like analysts that think differently to this, but what?
People aren't buying the game. The game was
for £25, £20. There's a value proposition that the consumer market thinks it is. If you launch a game now it's £70. If you launch it back then at £45, £50, people think, oh, this is worth £50. If you launch it at £20, they think it's worth £20, and I think that's the problem. And then when you have a sale and it drops down to £13 or $12, whatever it was. There's no value there, and it's at that point it's so cheap. It might as well be free. That's the thing, and people were waiting for it.
Right?
Yeah,
it's like $6 often. Right? And that's the point, though. Like
Scott,
the reason why the game has struggled is because it's hard to create and it's hard to find something fun to play. That's the reason why there are few people involved in the software, and we're the exceptions. So sometimes it's difficult to understand that perspective.
But why wasn't the strategy just to make it free to play then? Why if they're going to charge?
They wanted money
for it.
For something.
Yeah, but they never. There was never anything on the whiteboard to generate money. So why not just go?
That's why they charge
it's free to play, and then you can then say what's the player base like and take it from there.
Yeah, I think one thing we also forgot to mention is early on, Dreams was actually seen as a meme game because the whole YouTubers that came out and the amount of the quality of games that are out in the first year. I think it was a big thing affected really early on what perception Dream was. If they had a better way to find better quality games in the beginning. Obviously we weren't skilled
games.
Yeah, that was
definitely. It takes so much time to make them. I do know what you mean, though. They did add curation kind of late.
Well, I think they added curation like against their own will, like somewhat, because I feel like their ethos doesn't line up well with elevating the best stuff. I've mentioned this before because their MM's ethos is like, this is a tool for everybody. Everybody makes whatever they want. You get to see all of it. It's just super easy. Like 10-year-olds can do it. Everybody can do it. And we're not gonna push people down because they're not talented. We're gonna elevate everybody. And you can't have that ethos combined with let me see all the best stuff and play all the great things. Like,
with the wars.
Those two things just don't collide too harshly.
There's still, I'm gonna cut off one more time because Tomaton, did you want to jump in to throw in your thoughts on this, or?
Not particularly. I'm just listening to everybody. But my grand thought of the whole thing is that PlayStation spent so much money on this thing. Put it in the dashboard of PlayStation, free to play. Anyone can play it. Maybe charge to create or whatever, but make it native to the platform. And it's just like this incredible suite of things that no other console has. And then your money's not wasted. It's like this incredible bullet point on the box. I don't know. That's just my thought.
I've definitely suggested this before on the podcast.
That's the biggest shoulda, coulda, woulda, I think, is doing that.
Yeah, this could be free to play.
Good.
What's up, Rabies?
I have sorry.
Oh,
and then the direction, like the solution that I see here is that game jams, awards, all that stuff, picks, all that stuff should have been the avenue for converting the best of the best and into paid subscription content. And I know that that's exactly what the 800 Pixel Gorilla just said they were never going to do because it goes against their ethos. And we should have known that the game was going to fail when they came out and said that they basically said they didn't want to make money on it. They said they didn't want to make money on it. It was destined to fail. And
it was clearly a
passion
project.
Why did they say that? Like, what did they say?
I mean,
well, then just by saying by saying that you don't want to introduce ads, or you don't want to introduce paid content, you don't want to introduce DLC, means you're not making money.
Yeah.
And so, like, when people say, like, oh, did they explore options? I'm like, well, yeah, they talked about them, like, when the game came out. And they said that they didn't want to do any of those things. And Mark Healy saying, Mark Healy saying he wants to be like YouTube is really disingenuous because YouTube is operated on advertising.
There was something really interesting the other day, which was I think it was Squarecircle. Can't think of the website. There was a journalist on Reset Era who said that they sent a request to Media Molecule asking them this was in 2022, I think, asking them what their plan was, how they were supporting Dreams for this long without any sort of alternative monetization. And apparently, Media Molecule declined to give comment.
Dear.
Yikes. 2022, what month?
I think it was when they released the last Halloween jam. I think.
I don't know. What month is that? Sorry.
October?
October. Okay.
That's
okay.
usually when Halloween
Dude,
happens.
I don't follow the All Hallows shit. All right. October.
I do
yeah,
want
that
to
is when Halloween is.
They announced
I knew
servers
that.
on Easter.
So we have
that's actually-
Char who wants to say he's not going to speak over us to
I
do
need-
it. So let's chill it
Yeah,
out.
I guess.
6 months ago.
I probably need time to explain this before I start the flames up, but to me it seems like possibly. I mean, said they're not going to make like a Dreams 2 or another Dreams IP, but it feels like Dreams was a testing ground for something maybe bigger. Like, say maybe this new project is like a newer, stronger engine with its own,
There's no
with
way.
a different like IP or something where they're gonna have all the features.
Maximum. There's no way. If that happens, oh my god, that would be
I
amazing.
don't think
There's
that's
no way.
That might not happen. I'm not
Dream.
having my hopes. I'm not having my hopes high on that, but
MM has no idea what the next thing they're making is.
You think?
No, they've been working on that next game for years
why do you-
already.
No,
don't think
they.
they know
I
what the
don't
next
think
game
they've
is?
even started because I think this came down very sudden.
Three months
When you
ago.
think about
No,
in
I'm
dev
telling you
cycle
now.
must have been a backup
I'm
plan.
telling
They
you
do
now.
not-
They've been
100%
making that next game for at least
Hold on,
2
Pixel.
years.
You
Haven't
really
even
think over
started. They
100
haven't
devs
even
have been working
started.
on Dreams for the last year?
Yeah,
really
no
think-
shot. Is
Yeah. What
the live service team have been holding up this game
I will-
basically for the
You think
last
100 people is a lot? That's the problem. 100 people is
For
like
updating
nobody.
a game?
Are you saying
were
that
they
one person
hiring
was
people?
not like?
Well,
Are you saying that one?
I think Naughty
Those
Dog
shots
is only
are
like
started.
300 people these days.
Yeah, no, but they have Naughty Dog. Like Sony has other companies that help Naughty
That's
Dog
true.
finish their product.
Support
It's like
studio.
thousands of people. It's like thousands of people make those games. 100 people is basically like having nobody working on the thing because it's 100 people, but not 100 people are devs. 100 like. Portions of that are just staff that help support the company to run.
You have your
much
IT
bigger-
team, you have your HR team, you have your editorial team, you have your community team. That's 50% of the devs gone already.
your audio team is probably like 3 people. Your
Yeah.
dev team is probably like 15 people. It's nobody. It's basically 0 people. And
Well,
this
maybe-
thing came out. This thing came down like so sudden. I imagine that they don't even know what they're doing yet.
I do
They
want
have,
to say a few
probably have
words
ideas,
before
but yeah.
I leave. I only say this in hopes that I only hope that this is the case because for me the thing I was really upset about like Dreams no longer getting updates after September was not just because of like multiplayer or export. It was because I felt like because the creative industry, like the workflow there is an absolute dumpster fire. Dreams is really something that I felt like, at least the tools, they needed to be something that was like the standard tool set workflow for the creative industry. And I don't see like like create something that has that potential and then not wanting to utilize that potential in some way. Maybe not specifically for Dreams, but for MM's like projects in the future that might eventually make a tool set that can be utilized for that, make workflows so much like easier for people,
I mean, it's probably
Yeah, you're
it's, I think it's probably more likely that they're just gonna use the engine to make their own game finally. That's actually full length. I mean, think
if they
about
weren't
like
hypocrites, they would, but I don't think they're going to.
No.
I mean,
I'd love to see it, but
yeah, it would be great,
just-
but.
And if
Just
they were
seeing
making a
the-
new game using the Dreams engine, then surely to God you would release it, and that would be a Dreams
not
player. You couldn't create with
not
it.
necessarily. They need to be able to make
the
money.
Dreams engine was actually moved on to that children game. I can't remember the name of it.
It was in Concrete Genie, and
Yeah, and
Concrete Genie was sold on the store.
They were both moved on to other. They were basically given to other houses to use. So they'll probably do that with the Dreams engine as a proprietary thing. I can't see why they wouldn't.
That'd be sick.
That's what I'm figuring is going to happen. They're going to use this engine they spent all this time on to like actually make something and sell it instead of releasing work that they're doing for free over and over and over. They have to. I mean, think about all the time that Valve put into the Source engine. They had to use it to make Half-Life eventually. Come on.
Maybe they're even just gonna make proprietary versions of this software, and that's what they're gonna use, and their software is gonna look like Dreams because that's what they like.
Yep.
Then they'll release
Yep.
it for free. You know, who knows?
No, they probably had to add some feature that they just like couldn't give us. And that's why they have to stop.
Yeah, that's a fair enough point. Maybe multiplayer. I mean, multiplayer is a lot more complicated than people think, especially when you're creating those games and you allow people to have tool sets to mess with that, like asymmetrical gameplay and stuff. Maybe they just went, yeah, sure, some people will be happy with that. It'll add a few players, but it's not going to save the future of what it is.
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, it's
but
always
it
that
is-
thing, if you love something,
yeah.
set it free. I think they went, why don't we just wrap it up here, give it to everyone, and get those servers working. I mean, even in the press release, they say it's all about security and longevity, which are powerful words for developments. Houses aren't going to stick around forever. I think they've put a bow around it and left it in a really good state for everyone to use, really.
What's that quote from Batman? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the
Oh,
villain.
the Joker said that.
Yeah.
Not Batman.
Who's the villain?
Maybe it's a good thing it didn't turn
Who's
into
the villain?
like a version of Roblox.
The Joker said that, not Batman.
Oh, I mean, it's Batman related. Oh, maybe it's a good thing it didn't become this like super, predatory thing by accident.
Yeah, that was Two-Face. That was Harvey Dent.
Sorry, before we continue
into movies, which is where
Yeah, no movies. No movies.
Before we go on, Mighty, should we just mute Jet Yeti and then
Yeah,
come
guys,
back
mute
on?
him.
Yeah, should we just
I
mute
mean,
because
I already muted him.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll just mute my mic.
I imagine
he's not muted for the stream though. He's not muted.
Oh,
for
okay.
the-
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
That's not good.
Oh, so
Right, and
Wait.
Anthony would like
yes.
to say something if
yo.
we can just give Anthony a chance.
Right, okay, I'm not be put on the spotlight. I forgot everything I planned, but I think what I was going to say was something like I think why everyone's leaving is because like as a collective, the community is all just leaving because like as of like the recent news and that, and there's nothing anyone can really do about that. People are leaving already, and like everyone else is seeing the reaction of that, and everyone's just standing there leaving too. And I think because of this, Media Molecule is going to see this, the fact that the players started going down. So I think we're gonna get like an inevitable end of like the whole service or the whole like earlier than they should usually. And I think the reason everyone's really leaving is because like they see the fact that the updates are gonna stop, and that just like put the idea in their head that like the game's just gonna be like not worth it anymore. Because like the way I just see it, 'cause, like Dreams was made like magical because like the Media Molecule putting in that extra stuff, and I think now that being gone, everyone's just seen Dreams like a less experience as well. Everyone's just leaving now.
Yeah, the wording really mattered. It's something I've been saying the last day or two. Is like it's a shame they didn't use the term "dreams slim." Because at least that.
I think it was really weird if this was a known thing, like all the conferences they did recently where Dreams was front and center. Like, do y'all remember like all the talks they gave and everything? And even when they were talking about spreading to different devices and all that stuff, it had Dreams in like the windows of your phone, of your tablet and stuff like that. I just thought of it and I was like, always looking back now, it looks weird. But as we've talked about, like how long have they known this specific change was coming? That it just looks weird when I think back to it. Because what was that? Like 4 months ago?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Not long.
Yeah, like it might.
But
Yeah, it
why,
might even have been before
why would
that.
you put it there if he was going to sunset it? Like you just wouldn't.
But at the same time, if
Well,
you're Media
okay,
Molecule
hold
and
on.
you're going to a trade show.
I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying it's
what else are you
wrong
going to
or-
show?
Hold
what's-
on.
what's-
4 months is not a long time, and all these other things you're talking about were planned well in advance. So if
Right.
they knew 4 or 6 months ago, like it makes total sense. Like
Okay.
it's not. There's no conflict because like 6 months or 4 months of knowing this is
Like I said, I don't even see
in game dev terms is like.
I don't even see it as I don't even say or ask as a conflict. It just like thinking
Oh,
back to it, it's like wow. Like I mean, because if someone asked me when they knew they were going to do this, I would have probably said, I would probably say like at least 10 months ago. That's in my mind. That, and when I say do this, I'm not saying do anything wrong or screw up with the community or anything like that. It's just in my mind, this is something that you just don't come up with in, a little bit of time. Especially with, like you said, Scott, the ability to wrap it all up and then just be like, here, take this complete package. I don't know. It feels like those two time periods make it seem weird looking back on it, but not weird in bad, good, or conflicting way. Just
Yeah, I mean, the things we're getting are probably things that were already in the pipe, and they were just so far down the road that
Yeah,
they just
exactly.
finished them. So I don't think they started new things after they knew this. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So
I mean,
and the server stuff is stuff you would do regardless of knowing this information, because scalability is something you'd want to have built in. Because if you want the numbers to go up at all, you're going to want to do that sort of project like early on, regardless, right? So that might have already been in the pipe just because, anyways. So it's really hard to know.
Yeah,
if
I
things
think
can
Abby
line up.
definitely announced. Abby was basically telling people that just kind of understood the business of it, that in a year from now we're going to be changing things a little bit. I mean, they just got a really big new building built for them and paid for by Sony. A lot of the hirings since that, like 8 months ago, all those hirings haven't been. They're all back server things, multiplayer stuff. That's all for their next project. So I think I forgot who said it before. Maybe it was you, Rothkopf, is that you do tend to fill in the blanks with what we all hope it's going to be, because we all love it so much and we all want it to be the best thing. We want everyone to be exposed to it. So, and that's only natural because it's incredible. But now that we're here and we know what we're not getting, we got VR, we got optimization updates. It runs on PS5 great. There's really nothing to complain about. As I said, apart from some community events, and sure, the player base is going to be a bit flat. But they knew 8 months ago, because of course you would, because it's corporation.
If they knew if they did know 8 months ago, do you think that perhaps maybe there was a lot dropped on us a few days ago? If they did know 8 months ago, do you think it would have been wise 8 months ago to say, "Hey guys, listen, we've tried our best. Multiplayer isn't workable," and then that's all they say? Then
I think it's better. I think
we wish they would, so that we could. But what would we do? They would just plan for our exodus early. So, I mean,
they didn't say Dreams is finishing, the updates are finishing. All they say is multiplayer is not going to be a thing, guys. We got to let you know that.
The way they kept
it was always at the bottom of that Trello board for a reason.
Okay, I also would like to say that PSVR, they got that, but I personally was looking forward to the better controls of PSVR 2.
I was about to say, like, it is weird.
I mean,
talking
that's
about
not
a giant rebuild.
Yeah. It's, I mean, because for me, I never had the interest to really go into PSVR because I could never get the multiple sets of moves to work for me. And by work for me, I don't mean it was tough and therefore I didn't learn it and therefore it just... No, I mean, like, I dealt with constant drift. I couldn't, like, get it to work. And one of my biggest, like, excitement points, because as I've told people multiple times in the podcast, multiplayer was never a thing to me. I never cared. That just never mattered to me. But what did matter was getting something better than the move. I was willing to like if they did like Scott what you said with the box set. If they said, "Hey, we're not doing anything else with Dreams, but you know what? Here's PSVR 2 with Dreams," I would just go buy the thing again. Like I just buy it again.
Yeah.
I've spent over $500 on just the game of Dreams alone. Buying it for people. Getting people into it, getting people. I've bought people the PS5 simply
Legends.
to buy Dreams and give it to someone because I think because of their creative ability, it would work out for them. And it did on most cases. One got really mad he couldn't recreate the marble without him himself. He was like trying to work in the code. But yeah, like, so the thing is I don't felt like I wasted any of my money, any of it. And I will say the only thing that actually makes me a little about the whole thing, as I said in my long speech in the beginning of the show, is that the idea that a true PS5 version and PSVR 2 compatibility will not be a thing. That's the only thing that has me like, wow, I really wish I had gotten that. Because to be fair, they gave me almost everything else I wanted. Like that I thought was important as a creator, as an artist. So yeah, that's the only thing where I'm like, I'm not gonna gloss over that we didn't get PSVR 2, because that is really something, because a lot of people like me had trouble with the moves and they just never worked for them. So yeah, anyway.
I think there's an inherent problem with the PSVR 2 though, because you have to wear the headset for the wands to work.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, the majority of people, I think, use the moves without the headset as the control mechanism, and I mean, talk about a conflict that I think has zero resolution. Like, I don't even know how you would solve that. So,
right.
I thought you could use the.
Same with the buttons, dude. Like I mean, the other controllers don't have enough buttons for everything.
I always found it weird that like, I found it weird that like Dreams felt like it was made for you to use the PS Move controllers, but the PS Move controllers came out with the PS3, and Dreams pretty much launched at the tail end of the PS4's life cycle. I always found that weird.
It took them 10 years.
Yeah. So obviously
they
that's why it
started
lines
in
up.
one place and things changed.
At one point, I posted on Twitter, I said, we're playing and this has legitimately happened, we're playing a PS4 game on a PS5 using a PS3 controller. Also with a PS4 VR setup, which needs an adapter. It's crazy. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, so
I hate PSVR setup on PS5, man.
See, that's what I thought too, because had the PS5 dev kits while they hadn't even released Dreams yet. So I thought, I know what the extra year's delay is. They're going to basically sidecar the PS5 development. So when PS5 comes out, there's a really great launch title for it. No. That was another huge misstep, I think. That code could have very easily run on PS5 natively, and I'm sure that's what they must have been working on at some point.
Actually, yes, like just having the idea, like it didn't need to be like anything crazy. Just saying like, hey, here's a PS5 version of Dreams. Just having it there at launch, just interest. Hey, there's very few PS5 games right now. This one takes full advantage because you can make anything you want now. It's way bigger. Like, and honestly, didn't even need to have like larger thermal and stuff. Just having it there and not just completely in the background. I think it could help.
It might just have to do with like the limitations of the engine that they were using, like the Bubble Bat engine or whatever that's called. I
think it couldn't run on the PS5. You think?
It probably could, but it wouldn't like enhance it, or it couldn't enhance like further to the what the PS5 is capable of. I don't know, because I don't know. It sounded to me like the blog post, like for example, multiplayer. Like they looked into it, but they couldn't see it running on the engine they were using.
I think they did more than look into it. I think they was actively developing that thing for years.
Yeah.
They had to be. Yeah.
It would have been an absolute nightmare to develop, and that's why it ultimately never happened, because it was just such a shit show to try and get something like that feasible on something like Dreams.
I know it's not like a super clear thing to point off of, but literally in the Game Informer interview that they did with Alex Evans, he said, okay, we either drop multiplayer at launch in a kind of air state, or we take a couple more months and drop it in a good state.
Months.
I don't know how much like validity there is to that, but
A lot 48 months.
4 years. He also said there would be a real issue with Dreams 3. Dreams 3.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, I mean,
A person can say anything in an interview.
yeah. But I mean, he is the founder, so you would expect there to be some sort of validity. So.
I've known some founders, and they're not the best people to interview sometimes.
Tom Howard.
He also said that he wants game devs to eventually use Dreams to make games themselves, like on PC and stuff. And here we are.
Yeah, that's the
I mean,
one
they
thing.
could.
That,
I mean,
so
they
yeah, they
say
could
they're
still
not
do
doing
that.
Dreams 2, the Dreams
Maybe.
IP. Maybe that doesn't apply to Bubble Bath, but that also could be coding.
Release the engine. I mean, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. I think everyone would be happy with that. They just, hey, here's the engine.
Yeah, I don't
made
see
for the
that happening
console,
now.
so-
It was
Yeah.
designed for console. Like its architecture was purely designed for the PS4 hardware. Trying to get that ported over to PC that runs on basically every piece of hardware known to man, because no PC is the same. You are looking at an absolute cluster of an issue to try and get around.
Honestly, for me, as far as like Dream's future is concerned, and I've spoken to a few of you, like Acer and Pixel, about this. I'm curious what the rest of you think. I'm mainly curious what's going to become of the beta evaluation program, if that's going to even be necessary going forward.
We've
what
done a
program?
lot. The people I work with, we've done a lot of stuff with Dreams where we've had to send out the forms and get clearance on everything we're using it for and have it credited and stuff. And the vibe, I think ASAP was saying this before, is generally they go, yeah, cool, thanks. You tick the boxes, and they go, you can do it. Kind of can do anything you want. So I think that they're just going to let you do what you want with it now. It's a bit dubious about what assets you use for stuff. Obviously, they never let you just use stuff off the Dreamiverse. As long as you made it yourself, they really couldn't care. It's just like Photoshop to them. You make something in it, you don't have to get their permission.
I mean, given the fact that they're still going to be like actively in the community and like, you know, they're still doing the MM picks, they're still going to curate and stuff, I think the beta evaluation program will still be as is. It's just a HR job. It's not necessarily something that's going to take a lot of time to manage. So I would say it would still continue, to be honest.
They can't stop you though, really.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Once you export it, like, what are you going to do?
Jamie, can you say HR again real quick?
HR.
I'm not trying to pick on them, guys. It's I've noticed because when we were speaking about The Last of Us on HBO, he would say HBO.
Yeah,
it's
that's the core difference between English and American.
What? You mean he pronounced it correctly? That's what you're
exactly.
It's but it's the same how you would say herb. We say herb. Like we actually pronounce the H.
You say herb?
You silent Americans silence it. They say herb instead of herb.
And like I said, they all may think I'm trying to pick on them. It's merely I enjoy those differences. Like they actually, because it's just
I thought
like
herb was a name and herb was the leaf or whatever.
Like no, we pronounce our H's. You guys silence the H. You go.
I hate how you pronounce H.
It's like you're saying the number 8 wrong.
I
That's the way that you guys pronounce it.
Do you say Z?
Yeah, we say Z.
Z's pretty cool. I like that.
Or Z.
Yeah, see, I prefer that. Like I prefer the Z. That's awesome.
Right? It's just weird.
So anyway, like
we're completely off topic.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I want to how you can still export.
So I think at the end of the day, for me personally with Dreams, I'm not going to stop Dreams. But at the same time, the one thing that I dislike about the way it's all turned out It's just the fact that I don't think anyone really realizes how much I was looking forward to PSVR 2. Like I was so, I mean, I talked about it a few times on the podcast. I know everybody doesn't check it every show, but I was like, I treated it as if it were going to be like the second coming. Like it was just like, yes, this is when it's all gonna click into place. And it's just like I'm still a little hot about that. Now I won't get that. But as far as like everybody's done amazing things on Dreams. Even people who, you know, weren't the best at sculpting or whatever, they showed that everybody had something to offer, or at least were developing something that they could offer. And a lot of the conversation today on the podcast, I'm glad has centered around the idea that the community can live on. And what's great about it hasn't quote unquote died. And I'm happy that I got to meet every one of you, you know, and that we can continue our journey into the future from here. Cause I know that everybody's got enemies. Things have been getting a little heated for a while within the Dreams community and Twitter and stuff like that. But I'm definitely appreciative of everything that has come with this community and this creation engine that, you know, nobody knew, but we all loved. And still continue to love. So
100%. There is so much to be thankful for with Dreams, and like you say, the only thing that's really dying is the evolution of the software itself. Everything else remains the same. And although that's an absolute terrible shame, and we all wanted more from it because we could all see the potential because we're all huge fans, it doesn't mean that you still can't use the product. It just depends on your situation now and what you was waiting. Dreams
what was your use case?
Yeah, like, you know, for me personally, I was waiting for exportation. That's why I already 3 weeks ago started making a game on PC, and I announced it today. Like, I was going to be doing that anyway, regardless of Dream's outcome, because exportation just wasn't there for me. So I had to move to another engine because I wanted to make something I could put on Steam. So it all depends on your situation as a person now, of what you wanted to do with Dreams and whether that's now still feasible. If it isn't, there's a million options out there.
And I feel like it's only gamers. It's only game devs that really have to face
only
that
game dev that has the issue.
Like, and that once again still factors into what your end game was. If you wanted to, you know, blueprint and, you know, and get the idea together, there's still tons of things to do with that. If you're trying to take it to that next step, I mean, you know, Acer and many others are prime examples. You know, even oh God, now I'm a blank out. God damn it. God, never mind. Anyway, the point is, it's just like Acer. We'll just let Acer be standalone.
I'm not the only one that's
above everyone.
That's real game dev.
But that's the thing. Like, it really does come down to, in my mind, the only people who like any of this truly affects are the people who have those circumstances where they thought it would be possible within Dreams, and it's not. Like, and outside of that, everybody else is just, you're free to do. Continue doing what you're doing.
If anything, you get a better product now for those people, because, you know, you're getting better animation tools now. You're getting unlimited audio uploads and stuff like so for musicians and animators. Like, you're getting a much better refined product. You have nothing to worry about.
See, why Ledbetter? I was gonna say RBD Jellyfish, but he was doing it before he got to Dreams. Like, Dreams just helped him prototype like the newest thing he was working on at the time. But yeah, he was doing it before Dreams, so I didn't want to say him, you know, in the same breath that someone who started before and came out. But I mean, same time, Acer, yeah. So, that's pretty much the summation of everything. I'm glad everybody has hopefully gotten out what they needed to say. If you haven't, speak up now.
Oh, I have one more thing I guess say. I don't know if you guys share the same feelings, but for me, I don't regret any of the time that I've spent on Dreams. In fact, I kind of regret not spending like more time in Dreams. Just like I mean, there's a lot of old creations that I wish I could delete off the face of the earth, but besides, I wish.
What's so soon?
Yeah,
Very
we will.
soon.
Very soon, man. Coming soon.
But and this might be my bias because I'm a filmmaker-ish, but so technically I can export. But I wish I could have just used not been so afraid to use like the tools and could have seen sooner how much simpler they were, and I could have just like made so many like creations that I would have just had saved in the Dreamverse before.
But nothing's
before
stopping you from doing that
server
now.
migration.
Like you can still do that. So
Yeah, but it's like years of work that I have to do in like a month.
What do you mean?
Before the storage limitations when I'm limited to the.
yeah, but for you
time.
as a filmmaker, that is not a problem. You can make a scene, use the share button to record it, so you've got it outside of Dreams, and delete it. You don't need it anymore. Once that scene is
if
done,
you
and
hit the 5 gigs,
Exactly,
like,
you're not thinking about.
Yeah.
It's just
But
5
it's
gigs
like
is
you
a
were to-
lot.
It's just like if you were to go shoot it. Like your masters are your masters. You can't go reshoot. Like I mean, you can reshoot, but like it's.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I would kind of want to like go back into the Dream and like refine it in case my skills improve. That's the only issue. But yeah, I guess it should be. I should be still okay.
You'll be fine. It'll take years to hit the 5 gigs.
A few things.
But
I know when it comes to my
But-
show, it's based off of a RP that's had like 16 seasons, which means at like a maximum, very not likely pace of like a season a year. That's like 16 years, and I don't know. I have faith that the servers are going to last that long.
Yeah.
So
you
worst
should
case
not.
scenario, you have like 1 gig to work with and only 256 creations in a series that's going to have a lot of recurring places. I know I'm going to run out of room, so I don't even know if Dreams is viable for that if I'm looking at it like long term.
Yeah, you
if
should
you're
not use Dreams for your stuff.
if you're thinking of making a series that's going to take 16 years to make, then Dreams shouldn't have even been considered in the first place.
Yes, that is true.
I didn't have a PC, so it was like my only.
It's
chance
true
at the
though.
time.
That's a good point.
I didn't have another way because I didn't have a PC, and that's a whole other thing.
Again, though, if it's going to take 16 years, your only option is PC, and until you can
That's
afford
true.
one, I would say don't make it. It's as simple as that.
All right.
So
I
if
know
you
it's a bit
can,
harsh, but 16 years, I mean, Jesus Christ.
In 16 years, I'm going to be 46, and that is unacceptable.
Holy shit.
Oh, I don't
You're
know
old.
think about
It's better than the alternative, though.
Apologies, Mighty.
It's better than the alternative.
don't turn 46. What's the problem?
Wait, what
Don't.
if you make multiple accounts though? Can you just collab yourself and make?
That's another. Yeah.
One
maybe.
account per season.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Actually.
Cheating the
Yeah.
system.
Like making an
I mean,
extra account like every 5 years, but like
Did nobody think of that?
couldn't be an issue, right?
It's like
I said this. Yeah,
On?
I think you should not do that sort of thing, though. I feel
Yes,
like that's the
I-
kind of thing.
Not until you
No.
need to. Like you're not gonna need to.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
You just
Oh,
don't tell
yeah,
them.
true.
You don't tell them. You don't
Yeah.
go on Twitter and stuff and like boast
Hmm.
that you're breaking the system. You're just silently, Oh, here's this
All
friend
right,
that's working
16
on
Well-
years. Let's start one season at a time, Alpha. Like,
Exactly.
Just get
One
one,
season.
Yeah.
Maybe
and
Do
then
you
get
have
one from
do you have 16 years worth of story to tell already? Is that like a,
Is it
We've
like written
done.
down?
The RP has. We're on like what season 17? I think I said 16 plus.
I don't know what
And I
RP
want
is
to make
either.
all. I
Role-playing.
want to make those
Oh,
seasons.
okay.
So the
Find
they're
an
all
objective
written, I just have
editor
to
now,
rewrite
because
them
that's
in the format
crazy.
of the show.
Yeah.
That's
I have to like
done.
rewrite them and format them appropriately, but the stories are all there. Like
How
you
are
can
they
fucking
good
find
If
stories?
I could give you one suggestion, stop writing any more seasons and start working on the material you have. Because you'd be like, oh, I'm working on season 46. It's been 16 years and I still haven't made season 1 yet. Like, stop
I don't know.
writing.
50 is
Yeah,
a
what are
good
you
number. I
doing?
think you should go to 50. I think
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is a
go to-
nice
yeah, go
even
to-
number.
We'll never see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
At
I
that
don't know
point,
what
though, why not
happens in
just go to
evolution,
100?
but it's
Like,
going to be like the Korean
Right.
War in MASH. It's going to go on for 11 years.
Right.
I just don't know
Oh,
why
my
you're like oh man, I got 16 years worth of shit. I don't know if I can do it. Like, just start. What are you doing?
Just
right.
Well,
What are you doing?
I think you should plan the entire thing out. Take like 3 or 4 years to do
why?
it. You got
Yeah.
time. You got your whole life.
damn.
Plan the entire thing out. Dreams 3 will
do
be
that.
out by then, and then just really just buckle down and start. Like, it's not intimidating at all. Like, you got this, Alpha. You got this. Don't start. Don't start yet. That's crazy. Don't make your first season yet. You gotta just. Come on, like you gotta plan this thing. You gotta procrastinate as long as possible.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you making
God,
excuses for yourself? Like, is that why you really don't want to do it?
He's starting another game. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to watch your show.
I've seen a lot of people do that though. They make excuses for themselves. They just don't want to do shit. I've seen it so many times.
I do it every day.
You hate to see it. You hate to see
Well,
it.
I know it's on me. I'm not making an excuse. I'm like, yeah, I didn't do it. My fault. It'd have been faster.
Yeah.
Good. All right. The
People are
first
gonna be
step is
using
acceptance.
dreams limitations as an excuse now. They're like, oh, I can't do it with
I can't work with 5 gigs. Meanwhile,
Yeah, I can't do that.
They use 200 megabytes on the server.
Yeah.
Honestly, the servers stay up. I think I definitely think I could, because I could, like, assuming that the 256 is like respective of both. Like, you can have 256 online and local, and those are like two. I say mighty right there.
No.
I don't know. It's we'll see.
When you get to season like 8 and you have to make a new account, it's fine. Pixel Gorilla won't be happy.
I'm just
no
saying,
one's
I
gonna
don't-
notice.
I don't
Media
start
Molecule won't
watching-
notice.
I don't start watching things unless it's like, well, I should say shows, until at least like the season is over, because I prefer binge format or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I decided to wait until your whole story was out, I'd have to watch it from the grave. Like it with the
I don't watch shows that they're canceled.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good actually, because everything gets canceled these days, even if it's great. Anyway, I mean, I hate to go off, but I feel like we're wrapping it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, has anybody seen the show that was on AMC Plus, which screw them for even picking up the show, because nothing is going to survive on AMC Plus if it's not The Walking Dead. It's called Pantheon. It's an animated show. It is one of the greatest animated shows I've ever seen in my life, to me. And I actually had a friend that worked on it that I didn't know until I was watching the credits, and I was like, "Oh, let me call him up." But yeah, if you haven't, get it through any means necessary and watch it. It's called Pantheon. That I just needed to throw it out because somebody else needs to have seen this show other than me and the few people that I like corral into my dungeon to watch it. You're gonna watch it today. But yeah, anyway, back to
single one person.
Yeah.
Is there any other topics that anybody wanted to bring up for discussion?
Just briefly, I really want to know what was in the 10-year plan. What was it? Like, there's somewhere out there, there's like a
Can I get a
PDF
T-shirt
document.
that just says 10 years? Oh my god.
Yes.
It was the Trello. It was just what was on the Trello.
Have you seen any of the other games that had 10-year plans, like Anthem? Like, what do you think their 10-year plan was? You know, I have a feeling like anytime
Anthem
10-year
took
plan is
10
done-
years.
Well, I can tell their 10-year plan was Destiny's plan. That, I mean, at least that had a plan. Like,
yeah, I always
Destiny
think of
did
like
it!
Destiny's
Did
10-year
it!
plan, and it's so funny because Destiny almost completely died and they stopped
really?
making it multiple times. Like, yeah, if any
was the plan,
of
not
you
a
guys
full
know
plan.
about Destiny,
Yes.
after Curse of Osiris dropped,
Yeah.
they were this close. I think they said they were about 6 months from just shutting their doors. I think this whole 10-year plan thing is one of the most like awful things to come out of this
Yeah.
news, because everybody is so hampered on it, but you cannot predict 5 years in advance when it comes to these games, never mind 10 years.
Dude,
So
I
I
don't
think it's
think they ever have plans when they say that, man. Like, it always feels like just a PR way to kind of say like, oh, you know, we're
You're
planning this
saying
accordingly.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally saying, like,
You're giving off the idea that there's going to be longevity,
You're saying
and if you
Yeah.
Right.
But you're
if
still
you put it
saying
in there,
nothing.
yeah, but yeah,
well, they're implying
how
that
long are
they're
you
going
working
to
on your
stick
story
with it.
for?
you definitely
Alpha?
don't have details, but
Like,
you're selling
something-
the idea.
with something like Dreams or Destiny, you have to sell longevity because the whole idea is that it lasts forever. So if
has
you
a
don't
player
say
base.
unless you say how long you plan to support it, how on earth are you going to get a player base in the beginning?
Right. But then, so
But-
Destiny is a looter. Like, they make money, right? Aren't there like DLCs and shit?
Yeah, you pay for every expansion every year, and you pay
Yeah.
for
All the
4 seasons worth of
cosmetics.
content.
That makes
and-
sense.
Yeah.
What was Dreams' plan? This was, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but like, what were they thinking? I know they were.
I mean,
Connie News.
I mean, I know you keep asking that, and I get it, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like the 10-year plan was like development. like the 10-year plan was development, and if 800 is correct with the idea that doing all this stuff to monetize like goes against basically the foundation of which Dreams was built on, then the idea would be at the end of that 10 years they put out what they wanted to put out, and anything past that just doesn't. It's maybe what came to be, like what people wanted was the 10-year after, but I don't know, because they did say from the beginning that it was a sketchbook. Like that's how they envisioned it. And at the end of the day, this is why I say, like, you know, I think we've all said at this point that none of us regret any time we've spent with Dreams. I can't say the same for Acerp because I know he's going to throw a curveball the moment I...
No, I mean, I go back and forth. It's weird because, like, I learned a lot of game dev knowledge by, like, just making shitty games and learning and, like, improving that. And I made a lot of friends, but... But on the other hand,
he trade you all
I
in. That's
I streamed like I bet a large amount of time that I would grow my streaming career. That's whatever. With Dreams, like I would grow if Dreams grew, and that I bet on that. And Keld and I lost.
I'm clipping when you said I made a lot of shitty games. I'm gonna clip that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I will.
That can be the legacy.
Like, on that hand, like, or on that side, like I feel like I wasted a lot. It wasn't a waste, but like I made a bet and I lost. All right, and it feels really bad.
I'm not gonna lie. If you thought that Dreams was gonna be the game that would skyrocket your streaming career,
No. I not sky. That's not what I mean. As Dreams grew, I would grow with it. I knew like that's what would happen. I positioned myself for that, and it didn't. Like I saw Dreams as something that could get so big, like Little Big Planet big. And
I feel like it has been like, well, maybe not as big as Little Big Planet, but like Little Big Planet got 4 years of support each. So did Tearaway, and so is Dreams. And I think we can't really ask for any more than that. Little Big Planet is still up, and Dreams will still be
Little
up.
Big Planet had millions of people. Like the community is huge, and like
the data numbers were completely black and white. And like what you have to remember as well is Little Big Planet 2 is an extension of Little Big Planet, so you're talking 8 years support there, versus the 3.
And then 3 is an extension of the other 2.
Yeah. I don't think Dreams was ever going to be as big as LBP.
I didn't either. Not as big, no, because like the little Sackboy thing was that they struck gold with that. But I still thought it would be bigger than what it turned out. Like
it feels like a lot of hindsight now, right? Like. Because honestly, like Ace, like I'm in pretty much the same boat as you, where it's not necessarily like I was, I'm not doing this whole thing to just, oh man, I'm gonna use Dreams to like lift myself up. But there is this idea, that if Dreams is, I saw it myself, when Dreams launched, suddenly my channel was like 10 times the amount of viewers just because Dreams launched. And you could think like, okay, it's cool. Like if Dreams gets bigger, I get bigger.
Yeah, this could be a thing. Yeah, like.
So, but to go back to your whole thing, Asa, with like what were they thinking, like with
so like 10-year plan, the only monetization was sponsorships and game sales. How does that last for 10 years? So like what were they thinking? There had to be something. There had to be.
I personally think that this was always Media Molecule's baby. This is what they always wanted to make.
Yeah, I agree. I totally
You can
agree.
see that from Little Big Planet. They did it a little bit, and they wanted to go further. Dreams was always the thing that they really wanted to make.
This was like
So-
the game for
yeah,
them. Yeah.
so they pitched it to Sony because on the back end of the huge success that they had with the Little Big Planet franchise, Sony saw dollar signs in their eyes, and Media Molecules just sat there like, we don't care about the money. Sony's gonna fund this thing for us anyway. So let's just make it and see what happens. And I think that's genuinely, I think what happened.
Great.
I can see Mark doing that. He's like, we're gonna make.
Mark was
Oh
driving
no!
that because
Oh, that's
Mark,
a good.
Mark wanted to create.
So they just didn't
another
care.
Bedroom. Sorry, guys. Mark wanted to create another wave of the bedroom programmer that he was in the 80s with the 64
Right.
and stuff. So I think his ethos, the same with you can see where the music tools come from. They go, we want to empower you guys and girls to do what one person can develop a game, a small team can develop a game. And I mean, literally, Sony just spent $20 million to entertain like 500 creators. So we've been basically given this huge...
That's literally what happened.
Media Molecule
We
literally
win.
took Sony for a ride.
We win.
To just
Yeah.
make like,
I
'cause
mean-
you have to remember,
thought-
like something like
never
this
giving it to
never, something like this
know.
could never have been made had they have not been owned by a large corporation like Sony.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you needed
Right.
that massive company with dispendable income to just say, here's $25 million, go play and do what you want.
Go make
It wasn't just
dreams.
4 years; it was 14 years. So
Yeah.
Sony
Right.
they knew what was happening.
Like,
after
they did-
year,
yeah.
after
Did
year
they?
5, they're like, after year 5 or 6, Sony's going like, "Wait, what are you guys doing?" Like, at least.
Oh, we
right?
just had to remake the game again. Like,
Yeah, but
that's
Nobody's
But the
getting a wool pull
crucial-
over their eyes here.
the crucial difference is that the Acorn computer that BBC ultimately commissioned and put into the hands of children all over the UK, they got tax dollars for that.
right.
You know,
Yeah,
like they never put this platform into people's hands such that we were part of a revenue stream.
But I think Media
Legal-
Molecule genuinely
in-
just didn't care.
Yeah,
Well,
that's-
yeah,
I never
that-
thought about
I
that.
I
I
agree
really
with you
didn't
because I
think of
never
it that
saw
way.
I never saw a single legal document that said anything other than regular PlayStation terms of service. And those terms, if you didn't read them, identify us as players and nothing more.
right.
They just
But then
And so, like,
But then you have other
And
things
it
like
was never
No
going to
Man's
be more than
Sky. Same thing. No Man's Sky made a mistake at the start with what it was trying to scale as, but all the updates have been free since then. It's grown into a
Right.
respected platform. So they're not making any money from it. They never were making money from it, but they're still
Right.
supporting it. So I think Sony and Shuhei Yoshida and all those people, they do go, look, we love these studios. We own these studios. We're going to give them 20, 30, 50 mil to play with to see what happens. If it turns into a great community and suddenly we realize it's great, we'll support it. If it's like LBP where we can make $100 million off costume DLC, great. But I think there was just good faith in going, look, we love you guys. We own you. Go do this.
Yeah.
Get this out of your system.
But
And then-
how does No Man's Sky do that? Is it like an indie company if they're not making money from it?
I think
Well, I
they
think
have
because
DLC.
Sony are a big company, Sony can take the hit. Like just,
100%.
I mean, I know that there's not an endless
But-
amount of money. But
There's
they
more to
can
running
go.
a business than just making a profit. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot
But-
more,
I
right?
agree.
but-
We keep coming back to the fact that everything's about money, but really, this specific Dreams isn't about making money. It's about making content.
And I've
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dreams
but
Dreams
we
is
also
a
just went through
wonderful feather in the cap of Sony as a piece of user generated content. That's a wonderful feather in the cap because I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
but
what's like this on Xbox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
a brave move. It's an innovative thing. It won BAFTAs for being so brilliant. That's why they do these things. They don't have to make money. It's not Call
Sure.
of Duty.
It's
You
like
know?
Sure.
I said it
But-
in previous episodes that like the way I see Sony sees Media Molecules, it's their experimentation studio, it's their creative outlet, it's their art
Yeah.
project. Like, you know,
Yeah,
it's
Sure.
their art, it's their look at us, we're artsy and creative and we break barriers and try new things. That's what Media Molecule is to Sony.
Sure.
And
It's like the
Dreams was a
equivalent
complete
of
success. Complete success.
Yes.
We're all here
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it
yeah.
was such a success and it changed all of our lives. That doesn't go
Yeah,
away because the software does.
Yeah, I just
No,
want to say this has
but-
been like the most creatively fulfilling period of my life, and I've made stuff that I wouldn't have made, that wouldn't exist because I didn't have the tools or knowledge or even the time to make it beforehand. So I think in that respect, Dreams has been such a huge, personal success for me. I'm so glad it exists.
It also came out like the perfect time during the
Yeah.
pandemic.
It really did.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Honestly,
Yeah, man, the pandemic came out at the perfect time, man. I love it. The release of the pandemic was great. Like,
not sure if that's
Yeah.
what he meant, but
Did you say the pandemic was great?
I don't think you should say that.
No. But I want to make only like a couple final remarks, and then I probably got to go. But when we talk about 10-year plan, I think unfortunately what we're going to hear is that plan started at time of development, at time of acquisition. We did see the 10 years. It's just 7 of them were spent on building the game.
If I'm going to be
So I think-
pedantic, that's not what Yoshida said. When we had the first MP Awards, he specifically made a joke, and he said, we say 10-year plans. We don't mean 10 years of development. We mean 10 years of support.
All right, that's
Whoops.
fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. Okay.
Here we
But
are.
then I think
Well,
they saw a plan, I guess.
Okay,
the player
ano-
count
well,
was too
another-
low to justify it.
Another thing, which I don't think anybody foresaw, was that the chip shortage definitely plays into this, because you got to think about like the people way up at the top, like their bottom line dropped out from under them, and we just hit the end of the first quarter, and like I don't want to talk about like where I am right now, but like I just hit the end of a first quarter, and like every other office across the world, like, whew, heads are rolling. So like, it's that kind of world right now. People are getting laid off.
yeah.
It's all sorts of crazy stuff going on right now. So like, it's
We
not
mentioned
surprising.
we mentioned COVID earlier, and it's like Dreams launched basically when COVID was hitting, and it's Media Molecule. I don't know if they've been back in the office since. How did that affect? If it is a live service game, how did that affect development? The fact that they've got to switch to home working for the first time in their careers, it's crazy.
like I feel like it was a
Yeah.
pretty big deal. Like,
And then the last remark I wanted to make is a joke I was making the other day, and it might just make you feel better. I don't know, but you know, you can still boot up Mario Paint.
Game
Just think about that as food for thought. You can still boot up Mario Paint. You can make a song in it, and if you really so chose, you could drop it on Bandcamp the next day, and you could still do that for the next 100 years. So you know, like I was just at like a big game convention in my hometown, and a lot of the games we were seeing there were like 20, 30, 40 years old. And that included arcade games that used to have mandatory internet connections. And people have found ways to spoof the servers.
Nice.
And we were looking at GitHub repositories the other day, ways to spoof Dreams server. I want to start backing up Dreams.
That would be cool.
That would be
I want
amazing.
Dreams on PC. Then it would never die.
Exactly. We can. I want game preservationists to get started now before people start deleting things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you need Dreams to play Dreams games. You can't just like export the game. So, and we're not gonna always have PlayStations, but we're gonna always have computers, right? So maybe not
Well,
always, but you know what I mean.
I guarantee people will keep the consoles running just like every
On emulators,
computer
yeah.
that was ever made since the beginning of time. People are keeping old, like, you know, telephone systems alive. Every computer from the 80s, someone still has one running. We can store the data. Data's cheap, but like we have to be allowed to capture it somehow. So like, call your IT friends and ask them if they understand some of this stuff, and I don't know, sometime soon, like maybe it's like a year-long project, but like we have to find some way to do that.
Yeah,
So that like your grandkids can see what you made, you know, like
Right, like the how
think
how
about
would
think about the long game.
We're gonna have to keep
You're
our
just
PS4s.
sniffing packets. Yeah, well, yeah, you will.
Would you have to keep your PS4s though? If all the
I
data...
don't want to. Yeah, I
if
want to
all-
run it
if-
on a PC.
Right. If all the data is stored like Rabies is saying, we could emulate Dreams through a PS4 emulator.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, people are already doing that with Little Big
Someday,
Planet.
maybe.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that can't be done. We've seen it done in the past, so who knows?
Yeah, like I'm just talking about like I might not even be around to see some of these things. Like, I'm talking way down the road. Like think about all this creativity that may just disappear. Like archive.org is around to make sure that large chunks of the web don't just completely vanish, because there are live parts of the web that are dying all the time. How do you make sure that some of that stuff is preserved? At least the good parts.
Yeah.
At least the high traffic part.
Well, also there's probably an
can't-
argument. This happened a lot with LBP, where they would. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there. Is that with LBP, for instance, a lot of people were just recording the gameplay and recording what they did and archiving the videos, because a lot of the times the data's not going to be transferable. But I think, again, going back to the fact that Dreams is really a content creation tool, prototyping games and doing videos and doing animation and doing things. Most of those things are either audio or video at the end of the day. So I think even though we won't have the data, it's not like you'll lose. It's not like the Tears in Rain thing where we lose all these wonderful creative moments that we all spent so many hours on. It also is about backing up and recording and getting archival stuff of it as well. It's not just about hoping that we'll have a server down the track. I think, as long as there's records of this stuff, and the community, hopefully, like these kind of podcasts and things, will carry it forward. There's not going to be a huge vacuum without MM, because even though they were doing things to help propel everyone along, they kind of had done that for a while, and then communities grew up around that. So, as I said, it's going to be a big year ahead for everyone, because it will be the year that proves whether Dreams really was the grand experiment, or whether it really just died because it died on the vine because everyone panicked as soon as they hear there's not going to be another service update. It doesn't bother me. I'll be using it for as long as I possibly can, because it's a happy place to be.
And if I can just interject with a quick
Yeah,
positive
please.
note. What I kind of hope is, the last years have kind of been frustrating, because we've been stuck in this limbo, and you always feel like the contact with MM was kind of lost, like especially in the last half year to a year. Like I feel like everything kind of dried up. We weren't able to talk. Like every comment is like multiplayer, and it's all that negativity all the time. What I just really hope is that we can finally be able to somewhat talk to the developers again. Have the people enter Twitter again, just have a lot of fun with them, and just not be in this negative space anymore. Like we can discuss anything now that I kind of
be at
always
peace
felt
with
like
it.
there was so much red tape around everything. It always felt like there was just so much going on. I really hope that we can just enjoy this thing now and just talk freely with everyone and just have fun.
Spill all the
just
the juicy details, all the drama.
spill all the detail. No, but like
Behind
I
the
like to see some of
scenes.
the devs on stream again, like that type of stuff. Like I don't know if they'll do it, but I kind of
Oh
miss that
man,
whole
I can't believe they didn't stream some of the development of Tren. Sorry to interrupt, but I remember thinking when they announced that Tren was going to be a thing, that it was actually picked up by MM. I thought that wouldn't that be a great subject for like a no-clip documentary to see? Because what a success story it is that John Beach went from like a builder to a Little Big Planet guy to an MM designer eventually, to creating this game in this system, in this engine that they had created, and now it's been picked up by his employer. That's a fucking massive success story, and I would have loved to have seen some of the some more of the design decisions that went into that, because some of my favorite streams were seeing just John Beach make things.
Oh, exactly. The
Like-
behind the scenes streams are awesome, man. Like it's such an enjoyable time. Like everyone is super positive. You learn so much from it.
Yeah, I'd love to see more of that. I'd love to see just more behind the scenes stuff, because I'm so curious about how MM actually works behind the scenes. For example, like what are the artists doing, like in the periods between games? Because they've got a number of artists that presumably they're working on something, and we know that the level designers do their level design huddles and stuff. But like, what is an average day at Media Molecule? Like, what is it? What is the structure of this company inside? I just really want to know.
Maybe they've just been prototyping their next game in Dreams this whole time.
That would be cool. That would be a good way.
Maybe
The
so.
Wii revival.
I think.
Dude, I think the next game is gonna be something like Tetris. I don't know. I just have this feeling, kind of Tetris and Magic. Just a feeling.
I thought their next game was going to be like a little train toy set thing, where maybe like a puzzle game. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
no,
crazy.
we'll
Random ideas.
What will their next game be? Tearaway 2?
LPP4.
Who knows? I think
It's not going to be
something new.
LPP4.
It's going to be something new. I think it's going to be something new.
You think it's a new IP?
Yeah,
It'll be something with cake in it and something that'll be all cutesy and
I'm
to be honest, that is
it'll be out of spite. I hope they never make LVP again.
I mean, that is Media Molecule in the nutshell, though, is artsy and kidsy. So, I mean, if you don't expect that, then you don't know MM.
Yeah,
from Kung Fu Plastic forward, you can tell it's MM. They've got they're quirky, artsy people, and I think they're never going to turn around and make a gritty shoot or anything like that.
No,
and after Dreams, I can't see them going back to anything like this space again. Even the Create thing might not even be a big thing for them as much because they've maxed it out totally.
They've maxed it out, yeah.
Yeah, like they've got it out of their system. Like this is what they've always wanted to make. They've made it. They've done it. Now they'll move on to something completely different. The whole Play, Create, Share evolution started with Little Big Planet, and they just needed to just do more. You can't do no more than what you did with Dreams. Like that's it. You've completed.
Not in a console, no.
I think they want to tell a story again. I think they want to tell stories again and make characters and do that again.
They could have done that with Dreams. Like they can make games in Dreams. It's I don't understand. They could have made so much more content.
Originals.
Like where's
I would have loved
Artstream?
to have seen more of them pop up.
Artstream. Like
I will say, like playing the
I
last.
love that. I was surprised they didn't get houses like Naughty Dog or someone.
Me
and
too.
Go,
Yeah.
Hey,
total
and
missed
just do little one level like experiments. I totally thought that I felt stupid that never happened because I went, you go to Tim Schafer's company, get them to do a little point and click thing. You go over here and get these guys to do a shooter to show everyone what big studios can do with this tool and what you can do with it, and then to use all that PR to sort of cross over and get out
Same
to other
first party game jams. I thought that would have been a great idea because they touched on it briefly with the Ghost of Tsushima people and I think they had the Ratchet and Clank guys on stream doing a little Ratchet and Clank thing.
Did God of War as
That's
well.
it. Yeah. I thought it just would have been great to have more of that, sort of more integration with these other first parties for all of those reasons.
You couldn't get a better situation where Media Molecule is owned by one of the biggest gaming companies in the world that has all these studios with massive IPs. Like, it's all in-house. What more did you need for this communication level to open? Like, you couldn't get any closer than what it was. It's such a missed opportunity. It's such a shame.
There's only so many hours in a day. People have to go home and eat at some point.
Not game developers, man. Not game developers.
No.
Yeah, but this isn't like a game development issue. This is more of a marketing, PR,
It's a personnel issue.
communication.
You could argue that there was more emphasis on social and on outreach than there actually even was on development, because it seemed like a lot of the people they were hiring, a lot of the emphasis was on community stuff, getting it out there, getting, Twitch channels. There was a lot of effort in magazines, there was, they even, Jetpool and Jenin, they tried really, 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 really hard to get the word out. I don't think there's any doubt that they tried, but I think they also were trying to sell something. It's like trying to sell sand at the beach. It's, where they tried to sell it to architectural schools as a design tool. They tried to sell it to games colleges as a way to prototype. And the problem is all those are ecosystems that are also locked down with Autodesk and other things. They've already got their deals in place.
Right.
So it was very hard for them to insert themselves. We tried to get production designers to use it to design sets and stuff. And they all love it, but then they go, it's not really super accessible to people. It's a technical tool. It's for artists and technical people. It's not Mario Maker. It's not these sort of things. So I think that when they tried to pitch it to people, all they could say was, I think even in their original press release, they said you can make memes with it. Like they literally weren't sure what the fuck it was for.
Memes?
And they basically said, hey, our creators will define what we're doing on this platform. And you all did. But unfortunately, it didn't really germinate one big, great idea. Like, just imagine if we had just one game that was just an innovative game that did cut through, that was just a little bit different to what, a true indie game. That didn't really happen, not because it can't be done, but because we just needed a couple more years. Like, we're all got our skills
Why should
ready,
someone make that innovative game in Dreams?
Well,
because they want to, Acer. Because they want to.
I would argue Lock and I guess Trip's Voyage, even though it's not super innovative, like is that, but like I don't know. If someone's capable of that, they're not going to use Dreams because what's the payoff?
If you
why?
write a story in a typewriter or you
Such
write
an untrue
in a word
statement.
processor, it doesn't change the context. I think what I'm trying to say is it's a shame that there wasn't more visibility to some of the innovation that was going on with some of the dreams that people were doing. And they put a lot of effort in. So I don't think, what I'm trying to say is I don't think the audience isn't paying attention to you're making a game. Even on Steam, it's going to be impossible to get cut through like that. Even if you make a great game, you might not get anyone seeing it or playing it. So Dreams is just all about what you want personally out of the process. As soon as you start thinking it's about what other people want and what other people can get from you, I don't think it works. I don't think it was ever designed to be like this. So we're kind of talking about it wanting to be what we always wanted it to be. But at the end of the day, it was never designed to be more than what we were given.
I sort of wonder about the age group of Dreams as well.
Low.
Like,
Low.
There's a giant gap.
Really? Well,
yeah.
I don't know. Like Trip's Voyage definitely appeals to like someone who's already played Super Mario Sunshine. And I'm like almost 40 now. So like it appeals to me. I want to play it. And I'm gonna just like respond to like something somebody asked like hours ago. Like, I'm not really creating anything. I'm pretty much only in there to play games. And I'm pretty much in there to like play the most obscure thing I can find. Because like I've always been that way. Like I'm digging for something nobody else has played yet. I'm digging for something that's different. And that's what I'm there for. And actually I haven't played Trip's Voyage yet because I'm like, I played Super Mario Sunshine already, you know?
If you're looking for something different, in the first year of Dreams, I played some sort of Batman Joker comic. It went on for about 3 hours. That was different. That's never been attempted before, I'll tell you that. So if you're looking for something truly innovative, I can't remember the title, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't exist anywhere else.
Do you mean different in a positive way or negative?
No comment.
All right.
Hey, you know.
Go find out.
Yeah. So like, I know there's like a lot that when you start digging around like that, when you start dream surfing for real, and like, I want.
Oh yeah, when you get into the back rooms of dreams. Oh my
Dream
god.
surfing for real. I've never done that.
Oh, it's bad.
When you go in,
it's weird.
I mean, yeah. Oh,
That's the
it's
normal
not even.
experience. People dream.
The most I've done is trying to find multiplayer games when I have friends over. So that we can
Jesus,
actually,
you and
like,
multiplayer,
play
give it a
stuff.
rest.
No, like local multiplayer. Because like I want to show my friends like dreams we can play, and there's some fun ones, but like I don't know, it's.
You know this is a lie because you said you don't play Dreams, so.
I don't play. I don't like. If I'm playing Dreams, I'm creating it.
People say these weird creations are the
No. When I do have friends over, like I would show them. I'd show them the dreams I was making, which were never multiplayer, like local multiplayer. But then I'd try to find some like fun dreams games that were like multiplayer, and they're I don't know. So that's the deepest I've tried to like actually dream surf and like find good stuff. Everything else I play is just like I see on Twitter and stuff and. What you guys make on
so
it.
like some people say the normal experience of dreams is this like weird experiences constantly, and it's like I don't want to give away my trade secrets here, but someone asked me once, how do you find so many good games in Dreams? It's like it's not tricky. I go to most popular dreams and I search by what's popular in the last 4 weeks, and then I play down it, and every other dream isn't good and every other dream is really good, and that's it. That's the secret.
Yeah, the new algorithm is really good. Like released within the last month and sort of kind of active right now is an amazing filter, and you just like can do that for hours. It's pretty good. Man, question, because like I know you guys are creators. You guys have actually finished things. I never finished a damn thing, but like I wanted to just throw I wanted to throw this out here. Like, what's a thing you thought about making but you never did?
In dreams or in general?
I made them.
Yeah, let's say
In
let's
dreams.
limit it
Go
to
in
dreams.
dreams.
Yeah,
I didn't
So all the games he never made. He actually has them.
I mean, I've tried to make an RPG like 3 times, but
Wait, what was the question?
what have you thought about making but never did? Does it count if I've attempted and then stopped, or
That's what that
No.
means. Yeah.
no?
Oh, no?
Ooh, okay. I'll have to
Wait,
think
why
about
doesn't that
a little more.
count?
Yeah, why wouldn't that
I
count?
don't know, because he did make it.
Well,
I
He
did. I
stopped.
half made it. That's a good point.
Oh,
Because I'm talking about like, you know, if you didn't even try, like,
Yeah.
do you
Oh,
guys
I
have like,
tried
do you
them all.
have little stuff that's like, it's like, you don't have to, but that's like stuff
Typically,
that's
it's like
now
I go through
just
I
gonna-
have a bunch of ideas, and I go through and like I try to foresee what could go wrong, or like why this is bad, or why it wouldn't work. So I mean, I have a lot of those ideas that I've just never tried because I didn't think it would be good for one reason or another. And I'm thinking of a specific, but so give me a little bit.
I had
For me,
a
it's been a lot of
project that
VR
I
stuff.
started in LBP3 that I stopped because there was a glitch in that game that
Aw.
essentially made create mode unplayable. And I was
Oh, yeah.
thinking of starting it in Dreams. It was basically kind of like an L.A. Noire detective sort of multiple choice type of game. But I just never started because the whole sculpting thing just terrified me at the start of the game. Like realizing that I had to do pretty much everything myself. It was just
Yeah.
like overwhelming.
That sounds awesome. I would have played that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
For me, there's like you can have lots of bad ideas, and bad ideas you don't really make, and I don't think that counts. But a good idea is like having an infection. A good idea is like having a disease. Like the only way to cure it is to put it down on paper. And so I did that as much as I could. So
Nice.
I don't think there's anything like any good ideas I didn't actually get 50 or 80% of the way through.
Yeah,
before
50 or 80. Nice. I've wanted to make like an open world puzzle game that doesn't explain anything. That like you just have to figure out everything about it. That's it. That's the whole idea. I've never tried.
That does
'Cause
also sound good. I would play that.
Yeah, I think it would be like a really cool idea. And like I imagine like the community trying to like figure things out, and it would be like genuinely like cryptic and difficult. But I've never, because like to make that game, first I have to like actually make like the puzzles and just everything around it, and I don't know. I want to though. It'd be really fun.
I'm not telling you guys anything. I don't want you stealing my ideas.
No, exactly. Like I feel like
Okay, so that's it. What are you talking about?
like I have a long list of games I didn't make yet. You know, that's how I feel.
Yet, yeah.
Yes, it's
No,
like
I got
for
a lot of
like-
games I want to make.
like a lot of VR stuff still probably that because VR just there's so much opportunity there, but it's like the thing. It's with the moves and it kind of it's a tough pill to swallow. That all my VR ideas either have to be made with the move controllers, or I have to just go down the entire path of 10 years learning a traditional engine and perhaps making my dream VR game, whatever. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So it's a kind of a tough pill to swallow. So I don't know if I'm gonna make like my VR projects, but I had some fun ideas with like zero gravity type stuff. You know, definitely wanted to do something more story driven, and especially like a lot of physical interaction stuff. I still might make a game where you just clean a house. Like I really love that idea of just picking everything up and putting everything, you know, cleaning the floor and stuff. Like,
Intro Attacker, are we going to get Cold Conundrum 4?
no,
No.
it's over.
Wait, really?
It's over. It's over. Yeah, it's probably done. It's probably done. But you know, never
That's
say
so
never, you
that's
know?
so sad.
It is really sad. But
I
you know,
cry
might
every
make
night about it.
I might make something better, you know.
Might.
Well,
we'll see.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time we wrap this show up. And I appreciate
Already?
everybody coming through. What do you mean already?
When's the 10-year plan merch coming out? Because I will buy it. If you release a 10-year plan shirt with like some sort of dream stuff on it, I will buy that. I will buy 2.
I feel like, yeah, now is the time for like.
No,
the
I actually
pettiest,
will, because I
like,
think it's the
pettiest
funniest
stuff.
You know I will, dude. I buy your last
I-
merch. Come on.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave that up. I'm gonna leave that up to my PR person.
I'll do it. You have a PR person.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
And,
is Jamie your PR person?
Oh yeah. He's my
100%. Yeah.
He's the corpo half of this. Of this team. But
definitely don't forget to do the feel good jam, guys. Like we all feeling good. We're feeling good.
Well, I mean,
I can't believe that was the
what a
last
funny, what a funny thing.
Did everybody have fun? That's what I'm mostly hoping.
Yeah,
you enjoyed the conversation.
I'm really sad.
I thought you meant like the last
this
3
was
years.
so fun.
Well, yeah, we can do that too. But I mean, I know I did, but you know, for finale, for the last time that the Made in Dreams podcast will be here in this form as a podcast, I just wanted everybody to come and have good conversation, and I feel like that happened. I feel like Pac ate some really good food, and I'm just really trying to understand. I want it. Yeah,
it's broccoli.
I'm hungry.
Oh, yes, I love broccoli, bro. Come on now.
You do. I do too.
Well, so,
everybody loves some cruciferous greens, don't they?
Yeah. Also, I got to say, big shout out to you guys for the podcast too, and supporting the community and putting so much effort in right up into the very end. So big props to you and Jamie and everyone involved, because you guys never took your foot off the gas. You were always so enthusiastic about everyone's work. So, you know, we'd love you to still be part of it, but we really, really appreciate it.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you.
Made over 100 episodes.
Yeah,
massive achievement.
Amazing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think what I will say before we go is that just dreams as a concept, like if you say dreams of what it is, and like, you know, imagine this place where you can make anything and everything you want and then upload it into itself for anybody else to play it, and it be on a console, just sounds stupid. It sounds absolutely crazy, and anybody would tell you you're on a pipe dream. And so the fact that this actually exists, and we had 3 years of live service, and you know, we had Impy Awards, we had events, like, you know, actual Impies, like just the thought of that as well, like award shows within this whole ecosystem that they've made is just absolutely insane. And we've had like the best 3 years that we could ever imagine, and I'd rather have that than to just have the thought of it being a thing. So, you know.
Yeah, we've been very lucky with this.
Yeah, very
in so many ways.
Yeah.
And I just want to say,
for us.
Magma.
$20 million, 14 years,
worth it.
500 people.
oh no, what a privilege!
Dude, they could have just given that money.
Magma, come in here and say bye.
It's just like I don't think we'll ever see anything like this again for like another 20 years. So we're part of something extremely special.
Oh God, yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Yep. This was cathartic. I'm glad I finally got to speak with you guys. I know I left it late in the game, like I said earlier.
Last
but
second, like literally to the last episode, but you made it.
that's right. It's been a dream, but yeah, it's cathartic. I'm glad we had this, because I think many of us needed to sort of decompress, to process.
Yeah, like I feel way better since we've had this conversation today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, not enough berating.
Not enough berating.
Didn't Acid have some stuff to say or what? I thought
it was mostly just like wondering why they had a 10-year plan but no monetization strategy. But we talked about that. I think we addressed that.
Media Molecule ripped off Sony of $20 million and got to make their dream
that
project.
I did not think of that.
in
I
history.
genuinely didn't see like that angle of like Media Molecule literally just didn't care.
Yeah,
and
they're not
they kept
business
basically like
people.
saying, "Yeah, Sony, it'll make money. Don't worry."
Yeah,
and they're like,
business
"Okay."
people. They're just creatives. Like they just needed to get it out. So like, we need the money. Like,
they gamed the system. They gamed the system is what they did.
Yeah,
that's
they did.
amazing.
It's the,
No,
it's
that's actually
the one benefit of being owned by a multi-million-dollar company was that they could pitch it, and it just turned out they bit the bullet, and They got to do it, and we got to be a part of it. So,
What was Sony thinking?
We owe Sony a little bit of gratitude.
What were
too,
they
I think.
thinking?
Yeah,
Like,
Sony was thinking of Little Big Planet's success with all the costumes that they sold, and thought, "Don't worry, we'll figure out the
we'll
monetization.
do it with imps.
afterwards."
Don't worry. Yeah, we got.
Yeah, like don't worry
Oh,
about that. You've got 10 years to make this thing
mean-
because we know how complicated it is. So you
Yeah.
deal with that. We'll worry about the money afterwards. Media Molecule was like, "Great, we got what we want. Let's
Like,
build it."
It's like I don't think I
Yeah,
want
totally.
it.
Like Media Molecule never was interested in the money. They just needed the money to build it. They don't care about the
Yeah,
monetization.
they don't care about the money. Sony
Yeah.
does, but yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel better now. That
Yeah.
good for them.
Good for them.
Media Molecule, not Sony.
Thank you, Media Molecule. Hats off to
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. Whoever pitched the game is a genius.
They've got to be careful though, or Sony's gonna kind of.
I reckon.
We
See, that's why.
that y'all.
You see, that's why I think that this whole shutdown was like really short notice for them, because they realized what
expect it,
Media
yeah.
Molecule did. Like they say like, okay, right, they cheated us out of 20 million. They got their
I
passion.
don't know.
We've got to shut this down and start them on a game that will actually make money because we own them.
That
and
will
we need
actually make money.
Yeah. And
Didn't,
that's why
didn't any of you realize when Mark tweeted about 4 months ago, does anyone have a game engine that they're using that I want to make? Didn't anyone see that as a weird shot across the bow that Mark himself, who just made an innovative game engine, is looking to work in Godot or something? I always thought that was the weirdest thing.
Can you link that? Can I see that? Because that's.
Of course,
we didn't.
No, not about Godot. I just want to see Mark's tweet. I don't...
No, Mark literally tweeted about 4 months ago saying, hey, I want to I've got an idea for a game, and does anyone suggest engines? And everyone went, oh, Godot and this and that. And I went, that's very strange.
Yeah.
Because he still develops on the 64. So I was
Shout out
like,
to Yada.
why are you just using Dreams to prototype your idea?
Is Mark still at MM? He is, right?
Yeah,
still
but
there.
he hasn't been very vocal.
Nothing's been announced.
Everyone's been very quiet for the last 6 months, which I think says an awful lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I hope that we can see.
And
some-
everyone's under an NDA now, by the way, too. So that's also interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, all of MM are under NDA.
I mean, I'm not surprised. That's.
Yeah. Well, given
A
the
few people have asked Martin, come on, Martin, tell us what's happening. And Martin went, no, we're not allowed to talk about what's happening with the washout with Dreams, basically, around that NDA.
Is he allowed to say that he isn't allowed to say, or?
Yeah,
Is it this one seeking opinions of current best free software for general indie dev? Current contenders, Unreal, Blender, GIMP, etc.
Yeah. So I always thought that was strange because Mark is the reason.
Oh my
why
God,
we're
I
even talking
commented
about
on
this thing.
I commented Godot on that.
What did you say? Yeah.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I said another vote for Godot here. I was not the first one to say Godot.
How much is Godot paying?
What, are we
you?
supposed to say like Dreams? Like what?
Yeah.
Dreams isn't even
I
free
thought he
software.
said, I
so,
wonder
like,
how many people would say Dreams, and no one said Dreams. Not one person.
Dreams isn't free software though.
You think? I think
No, but it like
Sorry,
literally
it
isn't,
is.
and it like for Dreams isn't for general indie dev because like indie devs release their game on like Steam, right? So like Dreams literally
No,
couldn't
I
be
agree with you,
used
but I
for-
think we're in a different conversation there because we're talking about indie development includes prototyping and
Yeah.
publishing's different. I still think it's different
Oh, that's fair.
ecosystems.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Shit. Didn't that's actually really funny.
But it
No
was
one said
never
Dreams.
once free.
Wait, that's actually really funny.
It was never free, but it was kind of given away, wasn't it?
It was never once actually free.
He's like, wow, he said he never heard of Godot, so that is interesting.
If it would have been up to MM, they would have given it away for free. That's clearly a Sony move.
They probably would have.
Yeah, they would have been like, we've made this, now let's just give it away for free so everyone can be creative. Like, because that's what they are. Like, they at their core, they're just creative people, like quirky people. They're game developers second.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of
So-
them taking 20 million and just releasing it out for nothing. Totally-
Just put it on the PS Plus store.
MM should be wearing a fedora right now. And a cigar, a stogie.
I don't know.
I just never considered MM didn't care if it was monetized. Like, I just never considered that. So, like, you think they would have released all the Little Big Planet costumes for free? If they probably would have. Holy
Well, they
shit.
never made any. They always
Well-
outsourced all that.
Yeah,
to
I know,
the
but still, like,
but,
They-
yeah.
I saw an investor call document a few years ago that said they made about 150 million off DLC on Little Big Planet over about 8 years,
I believe it,
which is, that's a good return.
But
for
that was
$20
before
million
they.
game.
That's before they got acquired. They actually had to care about keeping the studio open.
That's
Interesting. I
exactly
didn't know
right.
Then
that.
Then they got acquired.
Yeah.
And then they don't have to worry about it anymore.
It's called
Think about it.
business.
Double Fine's in the same boat. Well, Microsoft owns this now. Now we get to do whatever we want.
Totally, dude.
Indeed.
Huh.
We're moving to wrap this up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody
gotta
got into a conversation, so I didn't want to cut anybody off. Like, this is the
I'm
last.
good.
This is the last time you get
I've
to
got-
do it.
I know. It's true.
I'm good for another 4 hours. It's fine. We can keep going.
I'm hungry.
I don't have enough time for 4 hours.
I don't have food.
Eating, we need to all order
If I
something.
leave, the stream will end.
I mean, like I
If
said,
I leave, dreams will end.
Will it though? Or we just wait?
It's always in our hearts.
You already left.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You never
I still wanted to do well, and I'm kind of pissed off it's being ended. Even though
It's not being ended.
You know what I
Not
mean?
saying
Oh
that.
my god,
It's
you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
The multiplayer dream is dead.
Oh my god!
We're gonna start all over
Okay,
again. We can't do this.
Nope, it's time. Nope, it's time. You said multiplayer. We've done
Yeah,
it
we're
ad nauseum. It's time to cut it off. But real talk. I am so glad that I, did get to meet all of you, especially those of you who showed up for the very last episode.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. It's
as always.
Yeah, it's just always a beautiful thing. And like I said, the podcast itself is gone, but I'm not gonna say that we won't do anything dreams based. There's a few things we're still working on here, but we'll see if we can get it all set up. But other than that, has everybody said their final words?
Be nice to meet him article on the stream.
Bye.
Yeah. I mean, I already said that at the beginning.
Always
I'll say it again.
Yeah.
I hope they don't send Tom out alone because nobody deserves that.
Yeah,
he deserves some support
leave
there.
them be. They're having a party right now because they actually pulled it off.
Yeah.
They're on their yacht right now.
It's the last scene.
actually believe
It's the
that,
last
though.
scene
Like,
of
it makes
Ocean's 11.
sense.
Yeah.
They're
It's like
just
the
all
only
out
thing
like
I-
Jim Grand.
And it's like we did it, guys, and the cherry on the cake. We're still keeping the servers open.
I know.
Dude, I just love that. I think it's the biggest heist.
It's like a win-win. Like they no longer have to do multiplayer because it's a nightmare. They didn't have to monetize it. The servers are still open. Everyone has a job, probably not, but that's fine. Wow, we don't know. We don't.
They're writing
That's
off
That's
the
what
sunset.
we're going to believe because it makes us feel better about it. That's the consensus that Sony got ripped off by MM and we all got to enjoy it. That's it.
Nothing else makes sense. No, honestly though, wow.
Honestly,
I feel a lot better actually.
Yeah.
So, with that, it's the Made in Dreams podcast signing off one last time.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, Jamie, did you have anything you wanted to say before we end off?
It's just thank you to every single one of you guys that have come through for 106 episodes. Seriously, we come up with this idea years ago just to try and talk to more people because both Will and I were very new to Dreams when we first started talking, and we wanted to reach out to people. And at the time, we was on the Facebook page. That was the only thing that we knew where other people were that had this software. So we started this podcast just to reach out, and the fact that we're 106 episodes in, we've talked to so many people, including MM and game developers throughout the industry. It's just been a hell of a ride, and I wouldn't change none of it for the world. So thank you to everyone that's been with us along this journey.
Yep, and also Puck coming out here with the cam on. That's
always
to be
What a way to
celebrated.
end the show.
Yeah.
Now you have no excuses for your stream. You have to use it.
No, I do. I just don't want to. So there.
Yeah. It's a personal choice, guy.
It was a
Personal
Made
choice.
in Dreams podcast exclusive.
I get it.
That's
I
what
get
was.
it.
You know what? I can't give you guys any openings. We're done. We are
Guys,
done. I
guys,
love you all.
See you again in episode 107, guys. 107.
Yeah,
This
see you next
episode
week.
is going to be. See you next week.
The re-finale. Yeah.